What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast. But today we got a round table. We're Mr. One Person. We got to handle the little Eagle fans of his family. but we're going to get started. Shout out to everybody for coming in here. We almost got up in here early. Let's get started. As y'all know, let's introduce ourselves real quick. It's been a while, a minute.
Hey, what's good, everybody? My name is Steve, Gay City Sports Channel. As my guy Reese likes to say, 1/4 of the Battlebirds podcast. And glad to be here, guys. Glad to talk some Eagles.
I'm Philly 500, or better known as Mark Holmes, however you want to say it. I'm here with a lot to say about the Eagles tonight. That's all I know.
There we go.
Yo, that man, you know what it is, you know what it is, your boy Philly Fresh, aka the General, and we definitely got some things to talk about, Mike. Let's talk, man. Let's talk.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I went live or doing any type of collab. So the news just dropped today, of course, the Derek Barnett signing, someone that, you know, if you listen to any and every content creator to just the actual media that covers it from every outlet about the Eagles, Derek Barnett was finding his way off the team. He somehow doesn't come back for 1 year. He comes back for 2 years. We're going to get into everything free agency. I know there's a lot of opinions and different routes people think the Eagles are going to go. There's just so many ways it could be done with the 3 first-round picks and where the Eagles sit, the foundation, what is built. Is it half ready, not half ready, 75% ready? We're going to talk about it. But let me get your initial thoughts on Derek Barnett. Whoever wants to go first.
Hang on. Flag on the play. We got roughing the passer. I mean, we needed depth. I think I said early on in the process that this was probably a possibility. I thought it'd be like post-draft. I didn't think that this would happen before the draft, though. It seems a little premature in that sense. The only sense I can make of it, guys, from looking at the roster component is they didn't want to go into the draft feeling stressed to take a player, but I just felt like at 15, 16, and 19, somebody's going to fall in your lap in terms of, well, that's probably the wrong way of saying that, but somebody's going to fall into position for you to draft, you know, at the defensive end position. I don't know if Ajabo's injury has anything to do with it, and maybe I'm not saying they necessarily were like that interested in Ajabo per se, but because you take a pass rusher off the board that was slated to be a top 20 pick, maybe they didn't want to play around in case there's a run on those dudes ahead of them. I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm doing the best I can to justify it, but I know my guy 500 is in misery right now.
I think this was the most trash signing of trash signings that have ever been taken place by trash signings. This is a Howie Roseman ego signing. All he wanted to do was to be able to say, look, here's another pick in which I made that got a second contract with the Eagles. Like I said this in my video. I told Joey Shakes this. It's like running a race, 2 people running a race, and one of the people that you're racing against has no legs. Then you run and you beat them and you put on your resume that you won some big race, but you forget to tell everybody that the person you raced against had no legs. This is the equivalent of this signing. 20 tackles and 2 sacks. I could draft a 4th-round guy, a 5th-round guy. I could go out and I could get Jadeveon Clowney. I could get somebody on a practice squad that can give me more production than this trash-ass player. So I hate this move. I hate it for depth. I hate it for the Eagles. I hate it for every single thing, every bone in my fiber. I'm pissed about this. I'm pissed. That's how I feel about the Derek Barnett signing. There's nothing good about it. Nothing.
I totally agree. I mean, it's really nothing else you could say. And then when you look at it, why 2 years? Like, that's what I said in my video. Like, 1 year.
He gets a year per sack. Every 2 sacks, 2 extra years.
That's
Big
crazy.
Deal.
That's crazy. You and Mike said that in your video, and I'm crying over it. But it, like it's crazy. Like Mike said, like I think we probably all said in our videos, the dude had more penalties than sacks. Even when he tried to turn it on at the end of the season, it just wasn't enough. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I feel, to me, I feel it's like, why 2 years? You just gave him a 1 year deal. He did nothing. So you think that in 2 years he's going to do something else as he gets older? he does the same moves. I'm tired of him doing the spin move, and when he gets caught in the middle of the spin move, he starts pedaling backwards. Like, dude, this is not the Olympics. Like, I don't understand what it is that you think that you're doing at the end of the day. And Howie, I just gave him a grade in my last video. I gave him a B-. Now I got to drop that down. I got to drop that down because this is not a good sign. And people in the chat, Philly 500, Philly Mike, Gates, y'all can laugh at me if y'all want. I would have signed Kerrigan before I signed Derek Barnett. I would have signed Kerrigan.
I would have signed Mark Holmes' son.
No, but when
I'm not even joking.
No, that's what make it funny. But listen, but when you look at it, I thought Kerrigan was the only guy getting pressure in that playoff game. We had no Josh Sweat. Obviously, we had no Brandon Graham. But the dude had 4 quarterback hits. He had 2. He had his best. He just showed up when you needed him the most. And I probably would have gave Kerrigan a 1-year deal, especially before I give Derek Barnett 2 years. Come on now, stop it.
Yeah, just to keep mine short and sweet. I agree with all you guys. I was upset about it. I try to say later I might calm down and see the depth reason, but there's other players that could be that depth situation. I mean, Milton Williams played a fraction of what he got and ended up with 2 sacks too. I lost $100 because of Derek Barnett, and I won't let that happen again. I agree. I just think that it comes to the point where he had a prove it deal. He didn't prove it. And if you are talking about, well, maybe because like what Gate City said, and a lot of people in my comment section said the same thing, well, then do 1 year, if that. But I'm more along the lines of it upset my stomach. I didn't even finish my dinner, and I'm a fat boy, and I always eat my dinner. I didn't finish it after my video.
So you guys know, Mike, is they structured the contract to where it kind of almost is a 1-year deal to where there is an opt-out in year 2. I don't have a problem with the signing. I thought the signing was early. Yeah. You're already trying to exercise.
I mean, how much is he making? Does anybody know how much he's making?
They haven't released it yet.
Because they don't want to. They don't want to tell us it's $10 million.
They don't want to upset us that much in one day.
Come on.
I mean, listen to this. Listen to this. Let me just go over his numbers from his career high. His career high in 2019, 6.5 sacks. Okay. 2020, 5.5 sacks. Oh, 5.5 sacks. This guy's doing damage. And then it goes down to 2 sacks. Literally, he had 20 tackles last year, 21 tackles in 2020, 25 tackles in 2019. If this guy was ever going to show up, it would have happened last year. This is insane. This is insanity.
And you know what the scariest part of all this is? Are you feeling as though if you're Howie Roseman, I solidified the line and I don't have to draft a defensive end? Because if that's the case, oh hell no, you gotta.
We'll get to the draft in a minute because you ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say. I'm sure.
I don't think the contract stops the Eagles from drafting a defensive end high in this draft. I really don't, just because it's a 2-year deal. Like I said, guys, from what I understand is the structure of the deal is going to have an opt-out in year 2. I know 500's already trying to exercise the opt before he even gets in the building. To me, that's not going to stop you from drafting a defensive end.
Yeah, I agree there. If Howie goes, now, I'm on the board where maybe Howie goes way left. I'm not sure, but we thought the 1-year deal for $10 million was pretty much, the opt out. He had to prove it or not, and we were wrong there. Let's get to the super chats real quick. Shout out to Jay Williams, member for everybody. He said, appreciate y'all with the $5 super chat. We got a Washington fan in here happy that we got Derek Barnett back. If Derek, just at least if you're gonna get 2 sacks, get him against Washington. Sack Carson Wentz. Shout out to D.O. Gunner with a $2 super chat. Us Commander fans, welcome Barnett back to Philly. Richard Kane coming in with the $2 super chat. Yo, we better be paying him the same as the ball boy. Yes, that I agree there. He got to be getting 2 sacks worthy.
He even get paid too much.
I know they get like $60 an hour or something like that. Anyways, Philly fans in Florida with a $5 super chat. Barnett, really? Next will be Rager and 500's favorite umbrella boy. Howie Vision has turned into a nightmare alley. Man, it's crazy. I agree with all that. We got one more. Professor Chaos with the $5 super chat. We're all happy. The GOAT Barnett is back, right, fellas? That's what we came here. Hey, Barnett brought us all together. for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's not much. And how do you feel about just the totality of free agency now? Let's bring in Pascal. Let's bring in Anthony Harris, Boston Scott, Greg Ward. How do you feel about the Eagles? And one thing I've been hearing a lot about is we spent the money last year. You know, let me just say this. Dallas Goedert, Avonte Maddox, Jordan Mailata, all of them, right? And am I missing somebody?
Goddard last year. You're talking about Avonte Maddox.
Yeah.
Sweat,
so them four.
That whole which one called except for Pryor got that whole draft 2019 got extended. Yeah, except for Pryor.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Gate. Their cap hit together is going to be $14 million. So for everybody saying that, them deals are going to hit big this year, that's not true. Mailata, Goddard, Sweat, and Maddox is $14 million to the cap combined. So this is the year to spend a little bit more, knowing that next year, you might have to tail off some things and blah, 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 blah. I just don't understand the
Mike. No one knows that Fletch contract, though. That's the thing, man. I've talked to so many people who do this at Over the Cap and a few other guys, and no one can tell me. No one can tell me what happened exactly on this contract. It was restructured so many times, no one could keep up with it all. And I even made a video back in January where I tried to restructure.
He signed again. That's a whole. He didn't restructure. He signed again. So it wasn't.
Yeah, no, he got cut. Right. And re-signed. But no one knows the cap implications yet of what just happened in dead money. Because nobody could follow all the dead money. That's the problem. So we're really dependent upon the Eagles front office to update everybody on what happened because no one really knows.
All right, so let me ask you this: Do we know everything about Darius Slay's contract now that it's been reconstructed?
So from what I understand from Darius Slay's, he just took some of his base salary and converted it into an option bonus type money. I think they called it technically a restructure bonus, but it's really just a signing bonus. So he just basically what he did is they put on probably some dead years, some dummy years, and then lowered his cap hit for 22. So they
restructured Slay to sign Derek Barnett. Genius.
It was the one following.
Yeah, I mean the cap implications they're complex with Fletcher Cox, guys, and that's why because everyone keeps asking me like, Steve, it says we have 27 million, we have a lot of money. I'm like, nah, bro, that does not count what happened with Fletcher Cox yet. We have no clue yet how to fit this contract because we don't even know how much money is in 2022 for Fletcher Cox. We know he got 14 million, but we don't know the structure of the contract. So we have no clue how much is a signing bonus. 14 million. We don't know if they put dummy years yet. I mean, there's some complexity to that.
Since it's 1 year, since it's a 1 year 14 million, can they do it almost like a signing bonus where you give them most of the money up front so it doesn't kill you?
500. You got it.
Yeah.
That's 100% what I think they did. And they did the same thing with Kelsey, I think, a year ago. And they created those dummy years. And it basically I'm going to tell you who the next guy is. That something has to be done. It's
Don't say Umbrella Man.
It's Brandon Graham. God, no. I'm not having people come trying to chase me down. Gate, you brought this into existence. Brandon Graham's the next guy because if you look at his contract, he's got the same exact circumstances as Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey. So it's kind of like, are you really going to convince this guy to come back and play for? I know his cap number says like 8 or 9 mil, but like 99% of that is actually in a signing bonus. So it's prorated. He's already received that money. So he would really only be coming back for about $1 million as what he would take away from the season. He's probably not going to do that. I hope he does. That'd be awesome for the Eagles. But my guess is that that's going to be the next contract we see something happen with. I don't know if he'll be like a Fletch thing. I don't think they'll cut him and re-sign him just because Fletch, there was that $18 million kind of kick in. I think that accelerated that cut. I think it'll be more like what they did with Kelsey when it comes to how they're going to treat Brandon Graham. But I do expect something is clearly going to happen, man. Something's going to happen with that contract.
Yeah, I just think that watching the New Orleans Saints go from -60 to +29. I just think that when you are all in, which I know we're not in a position to be all in, but there's probably like 6 or 7 GMs that you just don't really worry about the numbers. You just worry about making your team better because he's gonna make it work. Yes, you eventually get a contract like an Alshon Jeffrey, which he's still on the dead money and all that, but the cap is only going up. So the people who talk about the money spending, bro, the TV deals hit in 2 to 3 years. It's going to be outrageous. The cap is going to be, of course, not this year, but by 2023, 2024, the end of 2024, the cap going to be like 250, 260. And it's just everybody's going to be overpaid. You got to count it all. I just think that, this team making the playoffs, the worst thing that can happen is we try to run it back kind of how it is, and we go legitly backwards. And then where are we at as an organization if we coming off a first-year regime of Hurts and Sirianni, 9-8, and now we win 4 or 5 games with that second place schedule? It's going to set, we're going to be very upset.
We're running back a 9-win season. I mean, come on. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
All right, can I flip the page a little bit, because I don't know, I kind of know how y'all feel through y'all videos, but I do think the Hassan Reddick signing is major, because when you look at the fact of us being 30th in sacks all year last year, and then you got a guy that has been top 5 the last 2 years, and the only thing that scratches my head is if Jonathan Gannon is going to use him the proper way. Because I thought you had a guy that can get after the quarterback all year in Avery, and it took you 10 games for you to start using him as he should have been used. And we seen some disruption that he was using, and then they stopped using him again in the playoff game. I like Jonathan Gannon, to me, confuses the hell out of me, not gonna lie to you. And it might be some of the reasons why guys, I'm not gonna say Derek Barnett, because his stock is falling anyway, but it might be some of the reasons why guys' stocks are falling. When you look at a Hargrave who came on strong in the beginning of the season, and then he just fell off out of nowhere. He didn't get injured. There wasn't nothing wrong with him, but maybe it might be some of the system, man. And if you get a Hassan Reddick, who we have now, and you don't use him properly, it might be time for him to pack his damn bags.
Oh, yeah.
Just got a 3-year extension now. Howie did.
He can extend his behind right out the damn door if he ain't using his kid properly, man.
I think something in what you said kind of reveals what I think happened here, Reese, which is there's an element of continuity that we've heard said before, that they're trying, like, I think it's trying to get guys that have been in your system 1 year now, trying to bring them back and reunite them. I'm not a big fan of the Derek Barnett signing either. Like I said, guys, I kind of thought that might happen, but I didn't think it would happen in March. I thought like maybe after the draft in the summer, if he was still out there and couldn't find that contract, I thought like, oh, they might run that back for a cheap deal. I think it's got a lot to do with continuity. And then they're looking at these draft picks and then taking their shots here and there as the upgrades. I think it's the way they're viewing it. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I mean, only time can tell if the theory and the philosophy is going to be correct. I think the big telltale sign will be what they do opposite of Darius Slay. I think that's the big telltale to me is, are you running it back with Steven Nelson again? Because, hey, look, man, I'm not trying to take my shots at Steven Nelson. I know I was not very favorable when he signed here on him. I thought he did a very, very good job here. I mean, I thought he formed one of the better tandems we've had on the outside in quite some time. But his deficiencies did hurt the defense, and they did try to cover him up quite a bit. My theory is they're going to try to get a guy with better movement skills, whether he's a veteran or not. They're going to get a guy that's got a little bit more foot speed than I think that Steven Nelson has. But if they bring Steven Nelson back, then to me, this is completely like we're just running back the continuity angle here. We're bringing back the guys that have been in the system 1 year. And, Steven Nelson, to me, that's the one. It's like what happens on the outside corner. I do think they're going to draft a guy somewhere in this draft at cornerback. I don't know exactly where.
Somewhere.
So you have to. You just have to if you look at the age of the roster.
True.
I think one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that the reason why Hassan Reddick, which is a great move, and I hope they use him right, but one of the reasons why he's in Philly is because he took less money. He chose to come to Philly. He could have gotten a lot more in the open market. He's pretty much said it himself. If the Eagles don't sign him, they've done nothing. They've done nothing. And my point in the whole thing is this. When you look at this team and you look at what their goals are, it's very hard for me to believe, based upon their actions, they really care about improving a whole bunch next year. I think they have a whole other angle going. I think they're set up, and I hate to say this, but I think everything for them is about going this draft and getting a quarterback. And the more that I see the actions that they've done, especially not putting talent around Jalen Hurts, okay? We're talking about a guy in his rookie contract. This is when you're supposed to take advantage of those situations and upgrade. They've done nothing, and it doesn't appear to me that they're that all concerned about doing it. And the only reason I can think of it, the only thing that makes sense is that they don't feel that they have their quarterback yet. I'm really worried. And let me just say, I don't want this to be the case. I don't. This is not what I want. But it's the sense that I'm getting with the whole off-season process so far.
All right. Let me rebuttal something real fast, Double O. Here's what I'm gonna say. When you look at the talent that has been shifted around and guys going to these places, especially at the wide receivers positions, it's mostly these guys' choices, and they are not choosing the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, from what we've been hearing now, these are just hearsays. I don't really like to put the hearsays in my videos, but I have been hearing from people that know these things that Howie has been trying to be aggressive. I think if the Calvin Ridley thing wouldn't have happened, I think if he would have came over here, we would be looking at this whole offseason totally different. And then you look at him go. You said what?
I said I think you're right.
So, and then you look at him going at other people, but they're going to other places, like, because this is what they choose to do. You know what I mean? You look at a Von Miller, right, who just left a Super Bowl team to go get paid with the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
Who is
but
a
another
contender?
But think about what you're saying though. What you're saying is that these players don't want to come to Philly.
I'm not
so then
saying
you have to ask. Well, they're not coming. They're not. We're not. We're missing out on them. You said they don't want to come. So if they don't want to come, then that's an even bigger problem.
I'm saying right now it's better opportunities because, and a lot might be because a lot of people don't believe in our quarterback right now. Even people.
And that takes it right to where I'm going with it.
I get what you're saying. I don't think it's a quarterback right now. Like the Malik Wilson thing. I don't know where all this hype came from the kid. I watched his tape. It's but I guess now that he's throwing against people and there ain't nobody defending these people, he has an arm. And this is what everybody wants. Everybody wants the shiny toy that could throw down the field to these guys. But let's take a step back. Our wide receivers, other than Devontae, ain't getting open any damn way down the field.
Let me ask you guys a question though.
You said what?
A little bit of both.
Who's the wide receiver that you guys think spurned us because of Hurts? Because I think that's a false narrative. I do.
I don't think anybody.
The only receiver that spurned us for anyone was Robert Woods, where he chose to go to Tennessee. You can make the argument that he preferred Tannehill over Hurts, and I'm okay with that. I mean, we don't know the truth, but I could see that being legitimate. But
he got traded.
But if you look at Allen Robinson went to the defending world champs. Like, I mean, come on.
No, I agree there. And Kirk
got traded.
Howie wasn't going to pay that. Like, it got above.
And he shouldn't have paid Kirk. I mean, I wanted Christian Kirk.
The only one
not for that money.
No, not for that money. But originally, before free agency started, I thought he would have been a great signing. I didn't know he was going to get, ridiculous money. But apparently, Jacksonville has to overpay to get anybody to go there. So that's the problem. But see, the same circumstance, in my opinion,
was crazy. I mean, $10 million to play to the Lions.
Listen, can we be honest? And people are going to say this that I'm crazy. But if they didn't even make a play for Tyreek Hill, the most explosive wide receiver in football. No, he's the most explosive wide. He's the most explosive wide receiver in football. He's 28.
He's not paying that man $30 million.
Why? Listen. $30 million is the new going rate for wide receivers. Devontae Adams set the standard. In 2 years, you're going to call $30 million a bargain. That's just the nature of the NFL. You've got to pay these guys. They didn't even try. You can't tell me a guy that changes the defense, if you're really committed to Jalen Hurts and you really want to take advantage of him being a second-round pick in that rookie contract, they didn't even make an effort.
Let me just say this real quick.
Can I rebuttal that real fast and I get out the way? That deal, it was like no lie, like 20 minutes. I got a notification. Tyreek, I think it was who was been for Miami, and it was another team.
The Jets. And Miami and the Jets. They thought he was important enough.
20 minutes later, he was in Miami. That deal was already done. That was already done.
Look, what 500 is saying is he understand that we could have lost a bidding war, but why weren't we interested in showing that much love for Jalen?
I think they were the only two teams that got notified. Nobody knew.
No, everybody. If you're Kansas City, you're not going to say we're not taking calls for Tyreek Hill because the Jets and the Dolphins, two trash organizations, are in the running. They're gonna listen to everybody. The Eagles didn't even make a play.
But did you see? All right, would you have gave up all of that for Tyreek?
Listen, so the first round pick, 5 picks. He wouldn't have given up 5 picks. The first pick is the 29th overall pick. It's essentially a second round pick. So you would have given up 2 first. So if you give up the 16th pick, maybe a third round pick, something else, you get the deal done. The Eagles could have done it. They had 3 first round picks. They didn't want to.
I'm sorry, I'm not giving up.
But you're missing my point. It's not about whether they get him or not. It's about the fact that they didn't try. My point to you is that they have not fully tried to improve this offense. They have not truly committed to making Jalen Hurts' life easier. And it's obvious.
That's the player for the Double O. That's the only player that it wasn't talks that the Eagles was trying to get him. They were trying to get.
Listen,
go ahead.
When Howie Roseman wants somebody, he gets them. 99.9% time. This team has more ammo than anybody to get these players. They're not doing it. They're half in. I'm telling you, they're half in. And now the only logical thing I can think of is they want a quarterback. And they're going to get a quarterback with 3 first-round picks. That's what I think. The only thing makes sense.
$5. Let me ask you a question, though, about this. Because I saw your video and you talked about the cap space. And I'll back you up that if the Eagles wanted to get Tyreek Hill here, they would have reworked Javon Hargrave's contract. They could have traded, guys like Isaac Seumalo. They could have worked some things to get the contract under. But now you got $30 million, okay? We know we would have traded picks. So you would take some away from the reserve rookie pool, right? So you're going to take some away from the rookie pool, which is going to shrink how much money you got to pay your draft picks because you're going to obviously give away draft picks to get Tyreek Hill.
Right.
But what are you going to do defensively, man?
What are you going to do defensively? Well, you've already improved with Hassan Reddick, right? You obviously think Derek Barnett's worth coming back. So you brought him back. You could have still paid for him. And then you're still going to have 2 first-round picks, most likely. So you can address those in the draft. You could address your defense in the draft. You could have had Tyreek Hill.
Right, hang on, 500. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. You honestly think that Hassan Reddick alone improves our defense that much? It moves the needle that much?
No, I didn't say it moved the needle. I said it improves it. Is he not an improvement from last year?
I think it does. I think it moves the needle a lot.
I don't know if it moves the needle a lot.
But what I'm saying is you're asking where you're going to get the,
That's true.
You're asking where we're going to get the defense. Well, I'm telling you, they're not getting the defense now, and they don't have them. So they're going to have draft picks still, and they're going to then you take your defensive players with the 2 first round picks
together the package to go get Tyreek Hill on top of
you have to. How isn't that what Howie's good at?
Right.
Yeah. And they know Andy Reid.
You said in your video, Gate, that you were shocked that we weren't even a interested party, right? Like,
sure, absolutely.
That's where 500 is originally. Yeah,
that's what bothers me the most.
But he just look, and all I will say is this: I probably wouldn't have pulled the trigger, but like at the end of the day, like. Just going off Devontae Adams' contract, right? He's only going to be $8 million to the cap this year. Yeah, like later down the road, he's going to have that $38 million cap hit later down the road. But then again, you're going to try to adjust your team accordingly. And I'm telling you, by 2023, 2024, the cap space is going to be like 250, 260 by that time. So what I'm saying is, you can get it where it's a very small cap hit this year and do your accounting stuff to then make the team still be competitive later down the line. I'm not going to get in all that. I don't know the numbers, but before we get to the next topic, and
let me ask you a question, though, Mike and 500. Hang on, because I don't think that this is fully explored.
We're
talking about the defense. Hang on. You're going way too fast.
I told you it's going to be one of these nights.
You still need interior defensive linemen. You still arguably need an edge rusher. You still arguably need a CB number 2, if not 2 cornerbacks. And you still need
free agency.
And you still need safeties. And you're about to pay $30 million
free agency
plus draft capital to go get this young man.
I don't think you need 2 safeties.
I'm saying there's only
$30 million this year,
cost, and that's going to be at the expense of the defense.
What if his cap hit was only $11 million this year?
Right,
yeah, you could work it out. You know that.
Give him that $30 million, man. That would have been a
you could give him the $30 million and structure the contract in a way where you're not getting killed against the cap this year. We know that Howie Roseman does that very well. That's his strong suit.
Yeah,
like
Devontae
he should be able to handle
8.1 against the cap.
If players agree to it, you can put a lot of it in signing bonus.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say, and it might be a reason why Howie and Jeffrey Lurie go after some of these guys, these locker room type guys, is because when you look at a Darius Slay, right? You bring him in here. He's not a guy that says on paper, I want to be the number 1 cornerback being paid. Tyreek Hill says, I want to be the number 1 wide receiver when it comes to money. And the Eagles, I'm sorry, the Eagles are not going for that. Because they're going to look at Tyreek Hill in 2 years and say, well, we want you to reconstruct your deal. We want you to do
what?
this.
Worry about that.
Hold on, double O. Give me a second. And we want you to do this so we can get this player and this player. He's going to say, oh, hell no. That's what he's going to say. I want to be this is the reason why he left a MVP, a guy that won the Super Bowl MVP, which I thought Tyreek Hill should have did that, but that's neither here nor there. And said, I want to be paid. Let me go play with the trash Miami and be the highest paid wide receiver. This is what the guy is about.
You know that nobody stays on top in the NFL. Whoever's contract's up this year, if you're considered an A play in your position, right? You're going to use what the highest guy gets paid. Amari Cooper was one time the highest paid wide receiver. There's always going to be someone who breaks the mold. Eventually, when Lamar Jackson, whoever's deals next, Kyler Murray, a guy that LB is down on. When he gets paid, he's going to get paid. I hear you. But you know what I'm saying? You're going to use. It's just what it is. And I'm telling you, 40, 50 mil later, when the cap is that high, it won't be that big of a deal. But let's get to these super chats real quick. Quay J said, breaking news. The Eagles signed Nate Gary to a 10-year, $100 million contract per.
Just trying to piss me off.
Yeah.
Does anybody know the numbers? What was the numbers on the Derek Barr? Nobody knows yet. It's just 2 years. That's all everybody knows.
It's probably like $10 million a year. $10 million a sack. I don't know if
they were serious. 990,000. I don't know where they got that from though. So I didn't.
That's still too much. $5 is too much.
That's not even the league minimum though. I don't think.
Well, what the league minimum is? What, like, I don't know. Unless he's a backup.
Let me ask you a question. If Derek Barnett reached out to you and said, I want to come on your channel and talk, would you interview him?
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you?
I would pay to see that. I would pay to see it.
And I would tell him I think he's trash.
He got 2 sacks, y'all, and we brought him back. I'm depressed. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't get to
I want to hear LB take on this.
On Derek Barnett.
Yeah, I want to hear
it was the worst thing Howie Roseman has done since I known him. It was the worst thing in my opinion. Now, listen, you could miss on a draft,
Hold on,
but
hold
to
on,
re-sign trash, you've seen these trash. I give you the benefit of the doubt on the draft. You don't know what he could be at the next level, but this guy has shown you that on 3rd and 3, he jumping off sides. 3rd and 9, it's gonna be a late hit on the quarterback. He has shown you that's who he is. You don't go pay that dude. If somebody go mess your lawn up today, patches all in the lawn dying, are you gonna continue to get them to cut your grass? No,
if they do a half off,
to move on.
Like if it's cheap.
Hell no. Listen,
I
being
hear
cheap
you.
all the time don't work out. Now, I will tell you this: I understand it though, because BG coming off an injury, I get it. But you don't re-sign Derek Barnett. If Josh Sweat is in Derek Barnett position, then you re-sign Sweat. You just don't do it with Derek Barnett. I see the logic though.
But not 2 years. I and I said this to all the rest of the guys, LB, and I said they can laugh at me all they want. I would have signed Ryan Kerrigan for a 1-year deal before I signed Derek Barnett to 2 years.
The ghost of Kerrigan? That's tough.
He had the best game off the edge in the playoffs out of anybody on the team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody
Nobody was getting pressure but him. He was
unstoppable in the playoffs.
Best for last. He knew he had to go out there and try to get paid by somebody.
When you save that much energy,
realistically, my thing is it can't be realistically for a package. Everybody's saying that this could be due to a package being built. But why would anybody take him when they can just draft a rookie? It's loaded with defensive ends. Why do you sign this guy? You don't have to. You have 3 first-round picks. You have no business signing this dude.
And here's the other thing about a package.
Where's the fitness first?
Here's the other thing about a package. If he's going to be using a package, the person who receives in a package, why didn't he just go get him when he was a free agent? Like he sat there and he took this, whatever it is. If it is pennies on a dollar, that means no one offered him more than pennies on a dollar. I don't think nobody was knocking on Derek Barnett's door like, "Hey, can I get your services?"
No.
He was waiting at the Eagles practice squad. Like, anybody gonna let me in? Anybody gonna let me in?
I think so. What was he? I think he was the type of free agent to where we had to match him, but we couldn't just. You know what I mean? He had to give us the opportunity to match whatever was thrown out there or something like that.
Really? After his
was that like unrestricted or something?
Well, we gave him that 5th-year option, and that's when he made $10 million last year. So I think he was free as a bird.
Oh, he was done. You're right. He was done after that.
Yeah,
I think
you're thinking Nate Herbig.
Yeah,
Nate has the tender on him. He has the first of refusal.
But listen, 500 was going a crazy route with the draft, and we got to get into that and hear everybody's takes in the chat. Jay Wheels with the $5 super chat. I think Howie looked at the first half of the season as an anomaly. He thinks they could have had more wins if they ran the ball with the players they got. Maybe. Richard Kane said with a $5 super chat, not quite a run it back season with 12 picks. One way or another, there will be an influx of new talent. What kind of talent is you're going to find out what we think on the panel. Shout out to everybody. We're approaching 550 in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. There's one more. I lost it. Drew Johnson said, no one is signing with Green Bay. I think they don't want to deal. Wait. No one is signing with Green Bay. I think they don't want to deal with Howie. They got a Howie in Green Bay. They got another Howie in Green Bay. JB says, yay, we got Denzel's man's back. There you go.
What's up? Denzel Washington. You know it.
In the building. And Danielle Shipley said, what up, fellas? Why in the heck we keep Derek B? That was a stupid move. Keep up the good work, fellas. Follow all you guys. Shout out to you.
What up?
Appreciate you, Danielle.
And the last but not least, for sure for now, Mark said 500 celebrating Derek Barnett coming back.
I know. That's where he gets all the money off.
Who happy? Somebody's happy he's back?
No, Mark Holmes. He's saying Mark Holmes because Mark Holmes, he films me having meltdowns with Derek Barnett every week. So he's going to have another year. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. JB said, while we're having reunions, bring back Foles and Aggie.
No Nelson Aguilar.
Aguilar's an upgrade. Aguilar better than Rager.
Yeah.
Now, but real quick. If you just had to pick one for 1 year, who you taking? Regular?
Aguilar.
You have to take Aguilar because at least Aguilar is
he's more seasoned.
Gate City. Who you taking? Gate?
Aguilar
Aguilar's a better
contributed
route
to a
runner.
Super Bowl.
Aguilar's a better route runner. I mean, he's the better player right now. I don't think there's a doubt about that. But how fun would this be to have both of them in the lineup where you got Rager running the wrong route and Aguilar dropping the pass? Could you imagine the meltdown that 500 would have?
And Ortega-Whiteside blocking really, really well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar took 10 years off my life, so I don't want him back.
Jalen Rager's doing that to me.
Jalen Rager's about 2 years in.
He's
Derek Barnett's 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, listen. When I first found out about 500, like about 2.5, 3 years ago, you know, one of the videos I went back and watched. This is Derek Barnett video, and I read the comments because I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't doing YouTube at the time, but I was like, okay, broke Reggie White's sack record in Tennessee. Why was this? And then he didn't like it, and it comes to fruition, and you can see why he's that mad. He's been holding it for 5 years. He didn't like the pick.
Oh yeah, my most disliked video is my reaction to Derek Barnett.
So who did you want, Double O? Who did you want in that draft?
There was a lot of guys. I think I wanted Dalvin Cook. Now he went in the second round, I believe, of that draft. I also wanted the safety. What's his name? It was with the Colts, and then at Dallas. He's been hurt a lot.
Hooker.
There was a couple guys that I wanted. I also like T.J. Watt more than I like Derek Barnett.
Yeah, how about
Don't
that?
say that.
How about that? He won defensive player of the year, right?
I was reading. Yeah, I was reading a thing. There was scouts, and these were SEC scouts, and they were talking about Derek Barnett, and they were saying that at the time he was having success, it was like in the SEC there were no good left tackles at that point in time, and that it was really it wasn't fair. Like you weren't getting a true evaluation, and he only had one move. And when I read that and I started watching, I said, "Man, yeah, I want to stay away from this guy. I don't want anything to do with him." And of course, they drafted him.
Wow. Yeah,
Hey,
he
strictly
definitely
302.
me.
Strictly 302 to begin with, man. I'm from Newcastle, so I'm from the 302. But also, I'm sipping on some Four Roses, which kind of brings us to we're gonna do our shots, man, and celebration.
Oh yeah, let's get that 39-year-old man in the bottom left-hand corner. Hey, I got the Eagles Super Bowl shot glass. I need to get another one that says 2020 something else.
Shots up, shots up.
Salute.
Damn, I left my liquor downstairs.
You left it with the baby, man.
The baby sleep. I'm gonna let y'all do it. Oh, I'll take a shot.
There you go. Shout out to G with the $5 super chat. If Kenny
I need more.
That thing put some hair in your chest, huh? Hey, listen, and we also we shout out my man Mike too, man. Birthday just last week, man.
Still
shout
in the 20s.
And also another shot for me beating all y'all guys in fantasy football.
He won the whole fantasy. It was fresh.
My team was trash.
He the Super Bowl.
Did I?
He cheated though.
Putting that money, man.
Hold up.
That was a bag too. What was that like? That was damn near $1,000 win. Wasn't it?
Still spending that money, man. You hear me?
Hey, whoa. I doubled my money. I doubled my money, so it was cool. You know what I mean? We bought him at 100. I got 200, but I was mad.
I think I went to the playoffs though, at least.
Yeah, you got beat first round.
I won at least.
Nah,
I was trash.
I remember.
I don't even think
I'm doing a Howie Roseman rebuild.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what you be doing, 500.
Hey,
wait,
you
falling apart.
Yeah, you be grinding Howie up, but you are not a good GM, boy.
I wasn't last year.
Hey, real quick. 500. I think every year you played so far, you always find a way to get Tyreek Hill on your teamers. Did you have him last year? I know you had him the first year.
Tyreek Hill and DK Metcalf. I wonder why. Yeah.
You can't have him on the Eagles. You might as well have him on your team, huh?
Yeah, the Eagles, man. Look, I don't care what anybody says. When you get a chance, when you get a guy that scares defenses, and if we're really committed to Jalen Hurts, then give him something. Help improve. I hear a lot of people talk about, well, I want to stick with Jalen Hurts. I want to have Jalen Hurts be the quarterback. I want this. But when it comes to going out and getting weapons, no, we can't do that. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I kind of agree to an extent. But also, I just feel like right now ain't the time for a Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean?
Why?
It's like I think we'll be wasting his time.
Well, listen. Don't we? Isn't the time when he's under a rookie contract? Like Wentz's second year.
Are the Dolphins ready to
No,
win?
or the Jets, right? Or the Jets.
Listen,
I mean,
That was a money move.
But
That was a
listen,
money
Double O,
move.
you gotta understand. This team has more holes than a Jamaican tank top. So when you look at the whole situation, we're not ready to win.
Listen, if you put talent on the field, then even you might have deficiencies in other places. You can mask some of that. When you get a guy that literally makes defenses scared, changes the way defenses play you, okay, that is not something that is not something that you can find with every other player. To me, honestly, when you get a situation, when you get guys like that a Tyreek Hill does not come out on the free agent market often. 28 years old, just turned 28.
It wasn't free agents.
Sometimes you gotta take
agents though, Gates. You're talking about. I mean, 500. Sorry, you're talking about giving up our future with 5 picks.
You have
you
have 3 first-round picks, man.
You
have 3 first-round picks.
Though. That's only 1 year, Gates. We got 3. Me personally, I would only use 2. And you wouldn't have had to give up more than 1 first-round pick for him.
They only gave up
one first-round pick,
and then the other
they gave up 4 together. They gave up 5.
Yeah, but remember the first pick they gave, the first-round pick they gave up was the 29th overall pick. Essentially, that's a late first. That's an early second-round pick. So essentially, they were giving up 2 twos.
Yeah,
if
you would have gave one of the teen ones up, that would have made up for their first and their second, pretty much.
Yeah,
but this is the thing. This is the thing, though. These teams have an agreement with Tyreek Hill that they know that he's expecting to get the type of money he's getting. That's the only reason why he went there. It ain't about the assets. You know what I mean? That agreement
I think that deal was done before the deal was already anybody done. Even knew that he was getting traded.
Right.
It was like
Howie don't sleep. He could have just threw up a little bit though, just to show us that he's still aggressive.
Mike, we got a notification that Miami and the Jets wanted him. 20 minutes later, he was with Miami. What you want to do? What you
make a phone call? What do you mean? Listen, I knew
His battery was low.
I knew it an hour before he got traded. I would have called them and I would have said anything Miami's offering, I'll up it. Just hear me out.
So you can afford to pay him. That's what you're saying. We can afford to lose the assets and pay him that much money. We still don't even know about our quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if you don't know about your quarterback, but we want to go with him, right? We want to believe in him. We want to give him every opportunity to succeed. Why not pay this man right now, Tyreek Hill, while you have Jalen Hurts on a rookie contract? We aren't paying a quarterback yet. What are we going to do? Wait until he's got it. What are we going to do? Wait until he gets an extension and we're paying him $100 million?
In all actuality, you had the assets to make it happen for real. And
I don't even care that they didn't. I don't even care that they didn't. I don't care that they didn't try.
All right, Double O, real fast. Let me say this. You got Andy Reid, right?
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni. These are the guys that we're talking about calling plays for Tyreek Hill. Remember that too.
Just run straight.
No matter how dominant you are, if you're not in a good system, if you're not in a position to get guys open, if you're not in a position to have peak at their best, it don't matter how good you are.
That would 100% Jalen Hurts. So if we were what I'm hearing passing next year, that's Jalen Hurts' fault. I'm sorry. It'll be his 3rd year now. You got Devontae, Dallas Goedert, and Tyreek Hill. You can't even blame the playbook on that.
Oh my gosh.
You can't.
You give that man a
LB, what's going on, man? You sound like her season over or something, man.
I'm realistic. I've always been realistic from the jump. That could happen at any time. Like, this is my thing. You had it. So they wanted a late first-round pick. All your first-round picks are mid. So you could have just gave them 19 and not even a second, probably, and a third and another third. You know what I mean? Because you could have
gave him 19, third, and a fifth, and then like take a fourth or fifth next year.
That would have been it.
And then you got to give him 30, and then you got to give him $30 million.
So we all chip in.
No,
but in 2 years, you're going to be saying $30 million for this guy is a bargain, because look at what all these other receivers are now making.
You got to realize the GM that we're dealing with and the wide receiver we're dealing with. In 2 years, Howie Roseman is going to go to Tyreek Hill, say, listen, I need you to reconstruct this. I need you to do this. And Tyreek Hill is going to look at him like he got 9 heads.
So you're telling me I get 2 years of Tyreek Hill with Jalen Hurts
and
before I have to worry about that?
So does Tyreek Hill put us over to even be a playoff contender?
Yeah. Yeah.
So hang on, let me ask you guys a question. Let me just say this real quick. So Hurts in the receivers, right? It goes back to LB's point where he's talking about this has to be a make or break year for Jalen Hurts because the contract looms. That's the issue when you got a second round pick or anyone that's not a first round pick. You don't have the 5th-year option. So it accelerates that decision date on terms of the contract. Now they can franchise tag them. There's some things you can do. But when you're looking at this, you look at a guy like Josh Allen. Josh Allen had that 5th-year option because he was a first-round pick, right? So they went out there and they got him, Stephon Diggs, and then they drafted Gabriel Davis. And then a guy that couldn't hit the broadside of the barn, all of a sudden the arm talents start to show up with that guy. And I'm not claiming that Hurts has anything near that. But look at Dak, a more realistic, model, right? Wasn't very good, couldn't read the field at first. Had a lot of success in 2016 and looked like crap in 2017. He didn't look like the guy for them in 2017. Then they went out and they drafted Michael Gallup. Then they traded later on in the season. They went and got Amari Cooper. And then by 2020, when they drafted CeeDee Lamb, they actually turned the offense over to Dak. I'm not saying it was the right choice. I'm not saying that he's that great, guys. I'm just saying the way that they're approaching these young quarterbacks. You're the Eagles and you're the front office. To me, it's either kind of, I'm not going to say anything to get you demonetized, guys. Or get off the pot here. Like you either have to go in and you need to go get talent, whether it's through the draft, whether it's through, you have to build some pieces around this offense. It has to be done.
Or you always say, "What if?"
I can't excuse the Tyreek Hill thing, guys. I don't know why the phone wasn't answered or wasn't picked up to have a phone call placed in. I don't know, man. Maybe Andy Reid gave them a heads up about Tyreek Hill. I don't know, guys. I have no clue. I have no clue. But
so Gates, your position is that it absolutely should have been. You should have been in the running for it at least.
I think you should have made a phone call. I'm not saying that you should have made that deal because it was quite expensive, and you still have a defense that has to be overhauled. True. But you should have at least called to figure out what it was. Now, that's assuming that what's being reported is truthful, and that Howie didn't have some kind of contact. It's not like we don't have contacts in Kansas City.
Yeah, but Howie don't shy away from letting people know that his hand's in the cookie jar. He wants that attention. So it's more. I think it's more
waiting for the fallout, though, Mike. Is he waiting to pounce on the opportunity to get the fallout in Miami?
Maybe
for Devontae.
They got one too many. They got one too many receivers there.
I still think Devontae. Listen, I
don't want him.
Injury
I don't want him either.
He's a huge upgrade of rule.
I don't want Miami's trash.
He's a huge upgrade, but I'm just confused with the fan base on this one because nobody wants Juju, but Devontae Parker didn't have a 1,000-yard season in 2 years.
No, and he's injured a lot too. That's why I think the signing of Zach Pascal is smart because you have an insurance plan. If he misses a game or two, you can survive it. If he misses half the season, of course, that's a catastrophe.
Let me just say this real quick, and this is not the Hurts or not, right? Take it how you want, because Hurts still got to develop. We all know that he has to grow as a passer, or there's going to be a problem. He has to. With that being said, Cooper Kupp just had the triple crown: most touchdowns, most yards, and most receptions. Right? A monstrous wide receiver year. Well, the last year he played with Jared Goff, he was just a 700-yard receiver. Right. So all I'm saying is, as much as the receiver is the receiver, the system and the quarterback make you right. The only thing that changed there was Matthew Stafford, and he went from not and saying Robert, he didn't just grow.
Robert Woods went down too, though.
Okay,
so
but
he got a lot more targets.
But they also got Odell Beckham then, and not saying that.
The thing with Cooper Kupp though is he flashed so much in the years prior.
No. I knew what I'm saying. He was growing, but I'm just saying that's the difference in the sense of Devontae Parker's numbers are down as well, and I'm not saying his numbers will go up with Hurts because we don't know if Hurts going to take that step.
He's had some terrible quarterbacks.
Tua, Fitzpatrick. I mean, the Dolphins have been a quarterback carousel just like us. So all I'm saying is this: his injuries a problem for us.
We're not a quarterback carousel.
I mean,
kind
ever since Carson 17, I felt like I didn't know what was going on at quarterback. You know what I mean? It took me a while to.
We have never been not. I ain't gonna say never, but in the last 20 years, like we have
last
our
5.
I don't know, man. Post McNabb, count how many we've had.
I mean, you got Michael. You got, but
we won a Super Bowl.
A lot of them was backups that played. A lot of them was backups that played because
our quarterback gets injured.
Hurt.
Bro, I mean,
you
had
Vic.
You had Nick Foles. You had
that's because the guys got hurt. That's because
I'll count off a few of those guys just because some of those guys
Mark Sanchez
in them because they weren't really visioned as a starter. Then you went from Carson back to Nick Foles again.
Our starter. No. We're gonna go starters. You're talking about. Hold on. It's not a carousel if guys get hurt.
Yeah, it is.
So how, Mike? We're talking about
at the end of the day,
it's different than Miami. Miami comes into the season with different starters every single year.
But
Cleveland came into the
hurt too
with different starters. But what I'm saying is, you had Mike Vick, you got Nick Foles, and you had Sam Bradford. That was it, for real. That was it.
Don't forget about McMahon.
No, technically, you're wrong.
Jeff Garcia
was the starter, and Vic took it over when.
Jeff wasn't there after McNabb. We talking about after McNabb.
Yeah, was the starter. He got concussed.
Yeah,
and then Vic took it over.
Took it over. Yes, you're right. You're right about that. Yes, he was. I never thought Kyle should have been a starter. But
all I'm saying is we went that long before we got Carson Wentz, who then we thought was the guy, and that crapped out too. You know what I mean?
Man, he was the guy. He was the guy, man. The things just happen. Like let's not.
I can't help it though.
Yeah. Let's not do that. We're not gonna have that conversation. You know how we get.
Listen,
so we ain't gonna have that conversation.
We all loved him. We all spoke highly, even after something. Listen, we rode that ride. We didn't try to get off. Pause. But I'm off, and I'm way off. I'm way off. You know what I mean?
He's not on the team no more. I would hope you would be.
No,
you know what I mean?
I was wanting him off the team at that point.
I think he actually about to cook this year.
I'll give.
I think you're right. I think he's right.
I'll give you this. Every time
I feel the same way, OB. I ain't gonna lie to you. He got speed. Like LeClaire ain't nothing to sneeze at, man. He ain't nothing to sneeze at. The only thing is he's back with a bad offensive line. That's the only thing that's gonna kill him, man. That's what's gonna kill him. You just had the best, probably the best offensive line in the game. I mean, that's arguable, but a lot of people say that it was the best offensive line in the game. And I don't think he was the best running back, but after Derrick Henry went down, obviously Taylor was the best running back. So you had those two going for you, and now you're in the situation to where you got a running back that's and the offensive line is trash.
Gibson is a weapon.
He fumbles a lot though.
You gotta watch out for Washington.
He's a true no threat.
He a weapon, but he can be stymied. He can be stopped.
Yeah, he can be stopped.
Every time we play him.
He's definitely not indestructible out here.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, listen, Carson Wentz probably has his best situation, and now after failing, you don't get three strikes are out, so he's going to have to be on his best behavior. We said that with Indianapolis. Somehow they wanted to run away, and again, 27-7. That's not a bad season.
They did him wrong.
I don't understand why. Maybe.
You don't do that after 1 year.
Listen, Carson Wentz is going to have good games. He's going to have bad games. Let's see what the in-between games feel.
I heard a lot of it was about the vaccination stuff. That's what I heard.
Yeah, it might have been. People rubbed their eyes, but that's going to be behind us as, sooner or later we're going to be back to normalcy. Let's get some of these super chats real quick. G with the $5 super chat. If Kenny Pickett is on the board at 15, we got to take him. He has all the tools, and he's the most NFL-ready quarterback in the draft. And go Garrett Wilson next.
Oh, he must have watched. It
ain't no quarterbacks in the draft. That's why.
Yes,
so
that's why I hate to break it to you. That's what I'm saying.
You must have watched him throw in the empty
The Eagles
field
are going
with
to go
some
get a
shorts on
quarterback.
and the tank
LB,
top.
exactly.
And now he's the
Hey,
best
listen,
quarterback of the draft.
The defenders that he was throwing against was vending machines. So I don't even like. What are you talking? Like,
no.
go ahead.
I want y'all to hear Philly 500 out. LB wasn't here when he started giving us that thing, and I don't know if he finished it all, but he seemed like he had a lot to say when it comes to his
crazy pause.
his thing. David with the $5 super chat. Wide receivers are going to contenders, and teams are overpaying him. Howie might be waiting to see if Jalen improves to go in all in next year. I think he goes all in if he improves. Rufus said, man, Barnett had 2 sacks, more than 500 last year. Everybody excited about these 3 picks, but the same bum that drafted Barnett and Watkins. Watkins. Oh,
Watkins,
Danny
take
Watkins.
Danny
Danny
Watkins.
Watkins. And Rager is still here. Donnell said, don't y'all hate that we have no control at all of the franchise? Like some of the moves they make, we just have to deal with it. At the end of the day, we're all spectators.
Yeah.
Cruzon said if the Eagles
you're supposed to have. Go ahead.
No, he said if I was an Eagle fan, I'd be drunk.
We did. Everybody wanted Miles Sanders. Everybody screamed at the top of the hill to get Miles Sanders, and he did get him. So
and then he drafted JJ Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf.
Why you gotta bring that up, man?
Just because I have
come on, man. It's my birthday, man. I'm trying to have my mood high. It's my birthday, man. You gonna sit here and throw JJ Arcega-Whiteside is not allowed to be talked in this chat at all. You hear me?
You know what's crazy? Listen, y'all just said JJ Arcega-Whiteside and low. It's changed now, but we literally had 666 in the chat. It went to 663 as soon as we stopped talking about JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Just saying.
There's a reason why.
That's crazy.
No question about it.
We about to resign him.
Said, yeah, right. Imagine that. If we.
He is the best blocker on the team,
and he could pick up fumbles really well.
Yeah, that's the only touchdown of the year.
I'm surprised he hasn't converted to tight end since he could block so well, right? I think that'd be a perfect position for him.
I thought that too. I made a video about that last year, LB. I ain't gonna lie, and a lot of people that was commenting was saying that maybe he's not short-handed enough in the middle of the field. And that's probably why he's not tight end. But man, you got Richard Rodgers that come off the bench and all he do is block. So
it's crazy. We put him in when we go 13 personnel. When we go 13 and we bring through, supposed to bring 3 tight ends on, you bring JJ out. That's why.
In the beginning of the season, this is why I was so mad at Nick Sirianni. In the beginning of the season, JJ Arcega-Whiteside was such a tell. If JJ Arcega-Whiteside is in a game, they are running the football.
Yeah.
Period. It wasn't no pass plays for him.
Yeah, but in the beginning of the season, he was never in the game because we didn't run the ball.
I don't think Arcega-Whiteside could be a tight end. I'll be honest. I think blocking. Blocking. Yeah, it is. But blocking defensive backs and stuff is a lot easier than blocking linebackers and other guys. I mean,
yeah, but okay. So like, you got to scheme him though. You got to scheme him into the role. Like,
we got to scheme him off the team
and have it be play action. You know what I mean? Don't put him in a fucked up situation.
No, I agree. I mean, when the only thing you could talk about a receiver is that he's a great blocker. There's something wrong with the receiver. Is there not? Like, they say, that's not what you're supposed to hear.
But they're saying the same thing about Pascal, though. They're saying that.
But at least he's been getting 40 yards regularly.
Yeah, he's better. He's better. He's an upgrade over. We've upgraded
routes for him.
Our Whiteside
plays for him.
That's pretty bad when we got holes and we got positions to upgrade, and we're deciding to upgrade the third and fourth guy.
Receiver. Like, this is and here's the big surprise. I'm gonna give you another one. People think Rager's like in the depth chart could be on the bench. They're gonna play him. They're gonna use him. They're gonna still keep him in the slot because you know why? Howie Roseman pays him first round pick money, and it's going to kill us. It's going to kill us. And I'm telling you, this is why I say, when you look at the totality of this offseason, Hassan Reddick, he takes less to come. He could have gone somewhere else. He wanted to be there. But besides that, the Eagles have done nothing. They've done nothing this offseason except for bring guys back that were on a 9-win team. We're running back a 9-win season. And the only reason why I think that they're doing this and that they have 3 first-round picks and that they're not helping Jalen Hurts is because they're drafting a quarterback. I really think I'm beginning to think that's what they're going to do. Not what I want them to do, but it's the only thing that makes sense to me when I look at what they're doing.
He's saying that they're so stupid that they have to be drafting a quarterback. It's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, the moves are bizarre, man.
They're bizarre.
The moves are bizarre.
I mean, LB, if you're a Hurts guy, wouldn't you do more to make him better next year? Make his life easier.
The first thing I would have definitely did, I would have not let DJ Chark go to the damn Lions on a 1-year deal. I would have not done that. Like, who would you rather play for, the Lions or the Eagles, bro? That's an easy one you could win. The Lions on a 1-year prove-it deal, you're supposed to offer him that in Philly. Like, that didn't make any sense to me at all. You know what I mean?
I don't think Howie makes that mistake again, because as much as people don't want to be on my side on this, I thought after you had a guy that had no weapons, really, he's throwing the guys that work lawnmowers and guys that fix vending machines, and he takes you to the playoffs. And I'm talking about Carson Wentz, yes. And then to reward him, you go in the second round and draft. Yes, you draft a quarterback when he needs help. You cannot do that to the next guy. You can't do that to Jalen Hurts. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people forget about that. We have more holes in the basketball net, but yet and still, you want to choose the pick up a quarterback, and your answer is we always value backup quarterback.
Let me ask you guys just real quick. All right, I want to get a yes or no and give a little reason why. Right? We all wouldn't draft a quarterback this draft in the first round. We all wouldn't. I think we all said it in one way, shape, or form. We wouldn't. Give me not a yes or no. Give me the percent you think. Trying to think as Howie Roseman. Give me your percentage of him possibly doing it. Give your percent. Go 500 first, and then everybody give their percent and why. And you kind of been saying why, but
80% chance the Eagles are going to draft the quarterback. And the reason is not just because they have 3 first-round picks, but it's also how they've treated Jalen Hurts with trying to make offers for Russell Wilson, trying to get Deshaun Watson. When you look at the totality of that, mixed in with how they've tried to build this offense and what they've put around him this offseason, I think they don't want to do anything until they have their quarterback on the roster.
Gate?
I'm gonna say it's about 40%. I'm gonna go half of what he said. My reason being is that as I look at this quarterback class, it's just not that good. It's just not. I know some of you guys, I'll save some of the information because I know some of the guys in super chats have been asking us for info, and I'll give it to them as we get to those super chats. But the way I look at it is I know that we took Kenny Pickett out to dinner, but until Howie and Laurie is there, I don't think it's that serious yet. In my opinion.
I agree.
But I do think I'm saying 40% because I don't think 500 is crazy for suggesting it. I think there's clearly an interest, at least there. They're at least eyeing this. It's quite clear.
LB percentage.
I'm gonna say about 55%.
That's bigger than I.
I'm gonna say about 55%.
Cheers to LB, man. He knows what's up.
And it's just as simple as this for me. They just got too many picks. They're going to overthink it. They got too many picks in the first round. They're going to pick a quarterback. And one of those quarterbacks slip, you know what I mean? They're going to do it, man. It's just Howie Roseman, man. What makes you think that he won't? Nobody was even looking at Jalen Hurts would have been still there in the 4th round probably. Nobody was even looking at quarterbacks. Nobody did not care if Jalen Hurts was out there still. And we go out there and pick him. You know what I mean? Howie 55. Roseman is wild, man. I think it's 55% at least.
All right, fresh.
Yeah. As much as I just defended or whatever the case may be, man. 500. I'm gonna go 10%. I'm gonna go 90. 10%.
He went higher than me
because of everything that y'all just said and what LB just said. I was gonna say the same exact thing.
He argued with me for 45 minutes and he went
In the beginning, yo, LB, before you
talking
got
about
here,
what I would do, because when I'm arguing with you, I'm telling you what I would
That's
do.
awesome. I love you, man. That's awesome. Oh,
Well,
where'd he go?
Nah, he's back.
I love him. I
Y'all
love
hear
you,
me?
man.
Y'all
I
hear me?
love you. Yeah.
We're talking about Howie Roseman. We're
Yes.
talking about a guy that values quarterback. And I get it. You value quarterback, you value backup quarterback. I get it, I understand it. But sometimes, like LB said, and this was the most concerning thing to me. You overthink things. You always think that you got to be the smartest guy in the freaking room. No, do the logical thing. Oh,
Yeah, I agree.
I got a talented linebacker right here. Oh no, I'm gonna go out and get me a quarterback. we need depth at quarterback, because who knows what happens to our quarterback. Ever since we won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, it's like this is what we have to do, and I'm concerned. I am concerned about it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Go ahead.
I said in my Barnett video.
I never trust another word out of his mouth. Never.
Yeah, you know me. I already don't.
I would never trust. I wouldn't even call him his name no more. I would say that liar.
LB, the prospect that concerns me is we know how he's a lawyer and words matter to him. So you got to pay attention to the way he words things to see where he left himself the out. I said after I watched that he didn't close the door on trading for a veteran. Second to last question, he answered it directly that he's going to make calls. They will fill calls for guys. They'll definitely pick up the phone and call. But what he did say is that Hurts is this guy for 2022. He said nothing about past 2022.
Yeah,
and the guy that
even draft the guy
out of me is Malik Willis. That's the guy that I think he ain't going to be ready to play in 2022. That's the dude that I would have concern about.
You liking Double O?
I'm very intrigued with Malik Willis. To me, he reminds me of a right-handed Michael Vick. That's what he reminds me of. Just skill set.
Yo, he's brolic. He's
First of all,
bigger.
He's shaped like he eats refrigerators. He's shaped like he eats refrigerators for lunch.
He's fast and he's got
quick.
A cannon.
I ain't
impressed. He's got a cannon.
He got raw time. But look, I'm going to be the lowest. I got it at 35%, mainly because, and I'm going to start doing my due diligence.
Hey, Mike, you gotta get to these super chats, man. They balling up, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna do 35% just because I do believe. See, I agree with 500 and Gate. How if a veteran quarterback was available, he would have jumped on it. I do believe how he believes in Jalen Hurts for the fact that he took us to the playoffs, and how he's going. How he's about other things too, but wins as well. I think that he's going to say, look, we would do a lot for Watson, who's proved, and a Wilson, who's proved, but not getting them. Now you guys are talking about drafting the quarterback, playing him behind Hurts for a season, and then doing that makes my percentage come up. But I'm gonna stick with 35 right now. We didn't hit April yet. We going to hear the murmurs. Nothing gets locked up in the offices of the Philadelphia Eagles. So we going to hear.
You're right there with me. Which is if I hear that Howie and I hear that Jeffrey Lurie, or that they split up and they've taken different guys out to dinner, that's when I would say, like, okay, this is really getting serious.
I would have been at 35%, 30% 2 weeks ago until I saw the way that they've tried to actually bring in free agents and help Jalen Hurts. Once I saw that wasn't happening, and I started looking at it, I started thinking about this. This team has 3 first-round picks now. So let's say they use 3 first-round picks on defensive players or receiver. Now, let's say they go into next season and they realize, hey, Jalen Hurts isn't the guy. Now you're stuck because you don't have the ammo to get up and get one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. What are you going to do then? So the Eagles are thinking, in my opinion, I think they're thinking, we've got the capital to do it now. We've got to find the guy now.
I hear you, and I hear you. And again, as everybody's percentage is high because it's Howie Roseman, I agree. And again, nobody on the panel says they want a quarterback. They're just saying what we think Howie would do.
No.
With that being said, here's my thing. What if they start to do their due diligence and they're like, yeah, we got all this capital, but these quarterbacks are other Jalen Hurts. We're not sure that these quarterbacks can take any bigger steps than Jalen Hurts can take. While he's taking these steps, he still got us to the playoffs. Look, again, I watch and I do the live play-by-plays like you, 500, and I'm like, you stink because I get mad, right? I'm in the middle of the game. I'm like, all right, Jalen Hurts, reel it in, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. People know how I feel. I've been a supporter, but I see a bad pass. I'm gonna let my true feelings come out. But again, taking the I guess what's his name? Kenny Pickett got compared to Andy Dalton. Like, are we going to sacrifice the future for Andy Dalton? You know what I mean? Another guy who can keep us in purgatory too. So it depends. I hear you though. I definitely hear you. You make a very valid point, and really all you had to do was say it's Howie Roseman, and I would have took your point valid.
Yeah.
So Mike,
I'm always trying to get in his mind Howie vision, man. We're all living in it.
Yeah.
You know,
if it gets to the point to where we're taking him out to dinner, Kenny Pickett with ownership or GM, I'll reach back out to Max Brown again, and I'll see if he can't come on with all of us and talk about him. Max Brown was the transfer out of USC that came to Pickett's freshman year. He was the quarterback there. He ended up tearing his shoulder up. He knows Pickett. So if we get to that point, I'll try to reach out for him on all of our behalfs to have him come on.
Do it anyways.
About Pickett. But I honestly, I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I'm about 40%. I think that if the opportunity is there, you got to hold your breath a little bit. But I don't know, man. I don't have any of these dudes graded that highly.
Let's get to these super chats though real quick. Joseph said, dang, we got a super team in the piece tonight. Serious sports brains trust. Jose said, does not mean we won't go defense in the draft. I want to see, but it's crazy. I was surprised by most of the percentages other than, what'd you go 500? You said 80. Yeah. That's crazy. Oh yeah, he went 90. That's the worst. Yeah, right. David Ojabo injury scared Howie into a DB extension. I don't believe Derek Barnett extension. I don't believe Howie was aggressive enough on some other guys.
He wasn't.
I mean, but who could he have gotten? Like,
Clowney's still out there. Clowney's still out there. You know.
Yeah, Clowney.
They really wanted to improve. They could have got Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, would that not have been an improvement? Whether you like Clowney or not, you bring Clowney now, Hassan Reddick. And I mean, to me,
I don't want to be mean, but he gets to hit Carson Wentz twice a year.
Well, that was the other part I'm thinking about. Instead, we're going to have to settle for personal fouls on Carson Wentz. Late hits.
Honestly, the Eagles are a Bobby Wagner away from having a really good defense.
Bobby Wagner's still out there, right?
Still out there.
I'm telling you, they're not as far away as people think. Hassan Reddick was huge. You got Hassan Reddick, Slay. You kept most of your D line intact. If you was to get a Bobby Wagner or maybe a Honey Badger, I think you'll be different.
Right. And why aren't they doing it?
Like,
what are we waiting for?
Are they free agents or they need to be traded?
Yeah,
they're all free
agents.
They're not free for us, but they're free. They're out there.
But why? But what are they waiting for? They waiting for they're bargain shopping. The only reason they got Reddick is because he wanted to come home. So they're bargain shopping. Calvin Ridley, they tried to get him, but apparently it was a 3rd round pick. So it was a bargain deal. To me, lovely. I feel like it would have been great. I feel like, and I got to say this too, because we're 2 weeks in. If the Eagles trade for DK Metcalf, which is what I want, or something like that, it could change my whole opinion. But as we sit right here, I can't figure out what the plan is for next year. Why are we trying to take a step forward? I feel like with all the guys coming back, we're just trying to do a lateral move. Like we're buying time for we're just trying to buy time another year. But for what? That's I can't figure out.
Hey, shout out to Richard Henney with the $5 super chat. Will the Dolphins have a run for the playoffs with Tyreek Hill now? I mean, they won a lot of games at the end of the season last year, so they probably will. David said,
and Hurts is better than Tua, by the way.
Yeah, that's the strangest thing for Miami to be, and you heard reports left and right that Tua, we don't know if Tua's the guy, blah, 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 blah. He did play better down the stretch, but for them to go out, look, they draft Waddle, they signed Cedric Wilson, who's low-key. Cedric Wilson is skill-wise, he's an ex-Cowboy. I always thinks twice there because we have a bad rap with that. But skill-wise, Pascal or Cedric Wilson, probably Cedric Wilson. So, I mean, they went out and spent on the wide receiver position for Tua. So, it's all or nothing now, for sure. Hill's from Miami and wanted to go there. No. Is Tyreek Hill from Miami?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, I think he's from Alabama. I thought. Isn't he from Alabama? I don't know.
Good question.
I know he was a 5th round pick though. Like, imagine finding Tyreek Hill in the 5th round, right? And then getting 6 years out of him. So Chief fans are like, we just re-upped on a bunch of draft picks and we got 6 years of Tyreek Hill for a 5th round pick.
Well, and
Juju,
it's hard for them.
Juju go to the Chiefs? Smith
Yeah,
Schuster go to the Chiefs?
Juju and Scantling both went. Scantling
They
signed
signed
today.
Scantling today?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
but they're also paying Patrick Mahomes a lot of money. So they have to do what they have to do.
I think they got the perfect setup over there, man. Like for a wide receiver who need to win the ring desperately for his resume, he can just go right over there for a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
right.
And the Eagles have Hurts on a rookie deal, which he's a 2nd round pick. I don't know.
Yeah, it's looking spooky.
The Saints were 72 over the cap, and then when Deshaun Watson put them on a list, they went from like negative 60, not 70, negative 60 to plus 29. Like, hey, Watson, we here for you. You know what I mean? Sometimes when I see that, I'm like, man, I don't want to hear the word cap, right? I know it's there, but is it really there? Like, I don't know sometimes. Sometimes I believe in it, and sometimes I'm like, I mean, the Saints are doing magic tricks. So why can't we?
Howie's done those before too. I mean, we were way over the cap last year, and we wind up
we should
getting enough money.
If we had enough time to know about Tyreek Hill, we should have been heavy players for that.
I don't know. I would have been happy with the Eagles were interested, but they lost. I could live with that, but to not even attempt, like. Wouldn't that help? I can't understand it. It baffles me.
It is, and with April coming up fast, and once again, shout out to Philly Fresh for turning 39 at the end of March. April's coming fast, man. You're gonna hear so many things. Like we already were hearing how seriously we were in David Ojabo before the injury and whatnot. So things are gonna happen very soon. You're gonna see some smoke screens and stuff like that too. Because also, not say if we portray that we want a quarterback, and there is quarterbacks on the board, great deals can come. But here's the thing. I know 500 said it earlier too. Do you envision not just a quarterback falls to 15, let's use a pick. You could see them using picks to move up to get a guy they want, like all 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll cost that, but I think they're willing to do whatever it takes to get their guy. I honestly do.
I think it depends upon how far they're trying to move up.
Of course. But I don't know. It's hard to say. If they don't draft a quarterback, if that's not the intention, then they have to trade. They can't draft 3 players in the first round. They have to try to get a first round pick next year. You have to have you have to hedge your bet with Jalen Hurts at some point, don't you? I mean, I just think that if this team really wanted to build around Hurts and give him a fair opportunity, they would have been a lot more aggressive on offense. And we talk receivers, but it could be running back. You could have added another running back. You could have added another right guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, they haven't done anything to build the offense except for get a guy who's going to replace Whiteside.
But can we be fair? And a lot of this because he did miss on Rhaegar. But can we be fair? He did draft 2 wide receivers in the first round back-to-back years. When have you ever known Howie to do something like that? He didn't do it for the last guy that was here. You know what I mean? So
one was for Rhaegar.
Yeah, Rhaegar was for Wentz.
Well, that just shows you how bad of a pick that was.
And look how that turned.
We're just talking about trying.
But I'm saying the next year he says, "Oh, I missed on it, so let me go get the guy that everybody wanted. This guy, right? This is who we wanted, right?
Want him, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So I don't. It's like sometimes I think we act like as Philly fans, we act like, I hate to say it, but a wife. Like, oh, you did everything. No, seriously, you did it 99
My way better not be
times
listening
for
to
me.
this right now. You're gonna get me in trouble.
I could be a nagging
I'm
voice.
pretty
I'm
sure.
sure.
I'm pretty sure mine is. But listen,
Wow.
99 times. That one time that you don't do it or something that you, and now I know it's more than once with Howie. I'm not saying that.
It's
But
the flip.
I do think that he is looking at some of the mistakes that he has been making. And you still got to look at last year's draft. I thought that it was good. So you got to take the good with the bad with Howie. When you look at getting Landry Dickerson, who everybody was, I ain't gonna say everybody, but a lot of people was like, "Oh, why would you get this hurt guy?" And he comes in and he starts balling. You know what I mean? Like, I thought last year's draft was good, and I think in the second round he's gonna get that dude that just got hurt, man. And
Ojabo.
I hope not. Ojabo's my guy. Ojabo's my guy. But you got to wait till the third round. Third round, I'm good.
I said I ain't got no problem with it in the second round. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think
Does Sidney Jones scare you?
Ojabo.
Again, it's not likely that it will happen again. But the only reason the Sidney Jones was compared to Marshawn Lattimore, you know what I mean? He was balling at Washington State, and then he did what is it, Achilles or ACL, I'm not sure. And we get him in a second, right? That's not in your mind?
It's
that's in your mind.
Ojabu ain't Sidney Jones, bro.
The only difference is that Achilles coming back from coming back from Achilles being a defensive back, to me that seems like that would be a lot harder to recover from.
A lot of backpedaling
in a defensive end. Yeah, and changing speeds very quickly compared to Ojabo. But I still think could take a few years.
Yeah. Let's cut down some of these super chats. Shout out to Vernon. He said, I think the draft will solve all our problems. All we got to do is wait till April, and we will be happy Eagle fans, according to my guy Vernon. Or pissed. JB said the time to overpay a wide receiver was when the elite free agents were on the board. That way you don't give up assets now. I like to pursue DK within reason. Hey, that's going to be the new topic. DK. Are we going to
DK on the block?
Yeah.
Supposedly, didn't he quote tweet the Chiefs? The Chiefs said something like DK something. He was like, "It's cold out there. I'm closing the doors."
Yeah, he was. I think he was just joking around. I don't think that was serious. But the Packers and the Chiefs have inquired about him. There's even rumors today that the Eagles have talked to Seattle about DK. DK could possibly be traded. Seattle's saying, "Oh well, we'll see. We might trade him, but we might try to sign him first." So it's kind of out there. To me, it's done. 19th pick right now, DK Metcalf.
What if they want the 15th?
Done.
Nah, you can't get the 15th. He was a second round pick.
Done.
You already flipped your money. You gotta take one of these first.
I still have the 16th and 19th pick, right? And I'd have DK Metcalf done. I'd give it the 15th.
And this is the crazy part.
I'll give you the 16. That's as high as I go.
But you know the crazy part is, you wouldn't even have to do none of this if you would have just got him over the guy.
No, don't bring up
the guy that would not be mentioned. This dude like Baltimore. He like Baltimore in this joint. He will not be mentioned in his chat. But if you would have just went with him in the first place. But once again, here's why I hand back to the locker room type dude that you want, instead of going out there and just getting the physical talent.
You don't need cheerleaders. We need players.
I get it. I understand it. But when you look at what a Fletcher Cox did, you know what I mean? I don't think a lot of guys would do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Fletcher Cox could have went somewhere else. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Now Fletcher Cox actually still got high value.
Exactly. He could have went somewhere else. That's my personal opinion. So when you drafting these guys, when you draft a guy, and you draft a guy like Kelsey, who LB, damn, I've been meant to. I watched a video the other day, and you asked a question who you think the face of the Eagles was, and I think it's Jason Kelsey. I commented too. I think it's Jason Kelsey.
I think it's Howie.
I think it's Kelsey.
I think it's Howie too.
Kelsey
biggest signing.
When you think of Philadelphia Eagles, man, you think of Jason Kelsey come to my head.
We're the only team in the league that got a GM as the face. He making all these crazy moves.
Nah, man. It's dope, man.
Let me tell you,
crazy.
what kind of player I like. I mean, you have to have some good players. You have to have guys that are locker room guys, players like that. But you also have to have a guy that when the defensive coordinator and the other team says you're not Megatron, goes out and beats the shit out of your team. I need a guy with that kind of attitude. That's DK Metcalf.
Yeah, why would Jim Schwartz even think about ruffling up feathers to that guy?
You don't think Devontae got that kind of attitude?
He does. He's just 100 pounds.
You need like Devontae Smith, totally different kind of wide receiver. This is a big.
I'm talking about attitude. I'm
man.
talking about.
Oh, I love.
No,
yeah, I think he does to a certain point. I mean, when Devontae Smith goes to the coach last year and says, at the Giants game, he goes, "Get me the ball," and they don't throw him the ball. I have a problem with that, but they should have thrown him the ball. I do think he has that.
Nova.
The difference with DK is going to be a clip of DK cursing somebody out on the sideline. DK bring a different kind of energy. It's going to be a little.
I need it.
Is that good or bad though, LB? Like
I don't know. But that's what you want.
I mean, we just seen Jimmy Buckets out there arguing with your Donna's hands.
I love that. I love that.
I love.
Listen, at the wide receiver position, I'm a firm believer that you kind of need a diva.
A little diva.
You need a diva.
But these diva wide receivers don't win Super Bowls.
All of them don't.
I mean, Odell just won one.
Come on now.
I just get it.
He had a triple crown on his team.
First of all, I don't think DK is that big of a diva. I don't think he's as big as a diva. I don't think DK is that big of a diva.
Nah.
He's more serious than anything. He's just a different level.
I'm not saying I wouldn't win DK. Come on now.
No, but what I'm saying is,
I just watched a clip of DK going against the Arizona Cardinals, and he went in the middle for a slant, and his the DB fell off.
Jeffrey wasn't a diva until he won a Super Bowl, though. I see you, but he wasn't a diva until he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, then he put the shades on, and he was a diva.
Yeah,
then he put the shades on.
But real quick,
DK Metcalf got hit. He dropped the ball. He's like, listen, if you gonna want me to drop, I forgot what he said, but he pretty much said the dude was hurt after he deflected the ball out of DK's hand and hit the ground hard. And DK said, hey, if you want the ball that bad, he said something hilarious, but he just ricocheted. DK is gonna, use his physical stature and take little shots, like things that you want, like an energizer on the sideline. Like, throw me the ball, I'm gonna run him over. Give me the ball.
No, it's things like this. Chasing somebody, Buda Baker down after a pick six. That's a different level of intensity.
That's a different level of talking trash too. Yeah,
and the game he had against Darius Slay. That game, yeah. I mean, dude,
he balled.
DK is a dog, man. Smitty ain't got that in him. Smitty a dog, but DK is a motherfucking ape. You know what I mean? Smitty ain't got that in him, man. I like Smitty. Smitty confident too. Smitty talks.
I like it. Yeah, that's because of his body size, though. I was talking about up here.
I think you need a mix of everything on your team. You know what I mean?
You do.
I think you need a mix of everything. I think a guy like that, a guy with a little attitude, a guy with a little swagger, a guy that carries around the list of teams that passed up on him in their locker. I like a guy like that, man. I need that attitude.
Yeah, because when you look at it, when we won the Super Bowl, right, you had different guys. You had the quiet guys like Lane Johnson. You had the Malcolm Jenkins, the loud guys. You had the LeGarrette, quiet dude. Yep. You had the LeGarrette Blount, who was quiet but can get loud. You know what I mean? So you're definitely right, Double O. You need those kind of. You just need a mixture of kind of guys.
Chris Long.
You also need that alpha guy.
Yeah.
And right now, other than Jason Kelce, I don't know who. Like it used to. It always was Malcolm Jenkins that was our alpha guy. To me, right now, I think it's Jason Kelce.
Maybe in a different way. Real quick, shout out to Joseph though. He said at Gate City. Do you think another year with Hurts and the way we use the first round picks, position the Eagles positively, will position them positively for the future?
I think it's complex, man. I think you got to build the defense just because even if Hurts improves, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're advancing far into the playoffs or anything like that. It's team structure's got to get better in terms of what Hurts has got to improve upon. Look, his deep ball accuracy is pretty bad. It's a little flawed fundamentals there with him, especially with his back foot and getting his hips through on throws. With that said, easy to clean up. Not really worried about that. That'll get better over time. What's more so concerning about him is that he's got to become a better rhythm thrower. And right now, early in the season, he had a really bad habit of hitting his rhythm step too early, and that's sinking your drop back with the receiver's routes. He just was off. He was all off with that. And when you hit that too soon, you end up start bouncing, and then you start hesitating with your throws. It starts to look like you're hesitating to put the ball on the mark there. He's got to get better getting to the rhythm step, getting the ball out. He's got to be synced up with that receiver's route. That's really the big thing that's going on with him. This normally happens when you got a quarterback that is primarily progression reading over a guy that's out there that's going to be reading coverage primarily. I mean, there's a little bit of both that's at play here, but you can tell this offense is highly scripted right now. And when it's highly scripted, you're progression reading, which means you hit the rhythm step. If the first read is there, you take it. If not, then you're going to hit your hitch. You're going to hitch or you're going to gather. You're going to do that gather step, and you're going to go to your second read. From there, you have to reset yourself and go to the third read. I don't see too many 3-read progressions from him. It's mostly high, low, flood kind of concepts like that for him. So right now, that rhythm step's got to get better with him. If it doesn't, he won't make it past this year, to be quite honest. Now, with that said, he's only 23. And I think that gets lost in the shuffle a lot when we talk about a guy like this, is because there are dudes that are literally going to get drafted this year that are older than him, to be quite honest. And I think it gets left out of the conversation when you talk about Jalen Hurts. He's really, really young.
So JB said, not that I want a quarterback, but what are your thoughts on the quarterbacks gate? If we do get one, who do you choose? Real quick, this will be fun, right? Not saying you want, but if the Eagles chose a quarterback, who would you prefer? Everybody named their quarterback.
Malik Willis for me. Even though I think he's trash, this is look, I think he trash, but he would be the one. I'm gonna tell you why. He got a superstar quality. The cannon, bro. You can't teach the cannon. You know what I mean? If you could start developing an arm and have a natural cannon, you could be a problem in this league. Look at Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler stayed around for 30 years because he had a cannon. He been trash. But Malik Willis, man, you know what I mean? He scares me.
Oh, Lord. That was a great way to start. He was, I'll take Malik. I'm done. 500, who you got?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I did not think they would ever take a quarterback. And it's only really kind of set in recently. So I haven't watched a lot of these guys. But the only guy that intrigues me as of right now is Malik Willis. I think with the right coaching, I think he'd be a superstar. Because I think talent-wise, he can play. I don't know about all the other intangibles about him, but I think he's got a skill set. So I would have to say him.
Kate?
I'm not a huge fan of any of the guys in this. I'm not going to say Malik Willis because everybody said Malik Willis.
Yeah.
We all know Malik Willis has a very high ceiling. He's got the arm talent. He's a long ways away from being able to read a coverage. He's got his own mechanical issues to clean up. He gets his hips really late through throws, to be quite honest. But just to be different for the sake of maybe adding some argument, if I'm going to take a guy that's going to be like a complete project and I know that I'm going to have to work with, it's going to be Matt Corral. He's got the arm talent there too. Very much far away from being on the field and being able to play. I mean, another guy that ran a very, very simplified offense, so probably not going to play in 2022 for you unless there's some kind of, extenuating circumstance. I don't think he's quite there yet. He was horrible versus pressure. I'm going to be honest, guys. I ranked 40 quarterbacks over the last 5 draft classes. He's 38 out of 40 versus pressure. Numbers for you guys real quick. 36 of 84, 42.9% completion rate, 445 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 3 big-time throws against 6 turnover-worthy passes, an average depth of target of 8.8 yards. He was checked down Charlie versus pressure. Sacked 21 times, 15.4 pressure to sack rate. Means there's some mobility there. Like he's not getting dropped as much as some of these other quarterbacks are. 3.5. Here's the crazy thing, right? 3.5
Why
times.
are you taking him?
After all you said, you're like,
3.5 second time to throw, which I know sounds like an eternity, but for college quarterbacks is actually a really good number. It means he doesn't have that much further to go for the NFL. Most of these dudes, you get concerned when you see over 4 on the time to throw marker. But here's the crazy thing. 8.8 yards of average depth of target, right? So he's dumping it off. 3.5 second time to throw means that they're not really pushing the ball down the field, but he scrambled 29 times. So what do you think that tells you guys?
He's staying in the pocket?
No.
now he's leaving the pot. Yeah, he's dunking out. It's early as
29
hurt.
times is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's definitely a lot for his attempts. But I mean, the underlying talent's there with Matt Corral, but there's a lot of work to be done there. And these are the type of players I think you have to be careful of when you talk about Howie Roseman, because he only guaranteed 2022 in that press conference if there wasn't a veteran added. So it's kind of like, okay, well, if you take a Malik Willis or a Matt Corral, you're probably not looking necessarily for them to, in an idealized situation, start in 22. That's probably a 23 move. So it's moves like that catch my attention.
Yeah. And my only thing before Fresh goes, if you believe that they need that much work, well, then we got a quarterback that needs a little bit less than what you just said. So, you know what I mean? Get him some talent, but it is what it is. Fresh, who would you take if, and if it was a fifth, we all be drunk on your birthday. I understand that, but if.
I'm going to be different too. First, I was going to say Kenny Pickett, but then I looked at this dude from Cincinnati, man, Desmond Ridder. Just
he's
to be
intriguing,
man. He's a guy, I think, he doesn't have all the skill sets, but what he does have is flat. It's real flashy. You know what I mean? I mean, you look at what he did just last year. He had 250. He was 64 completion percentage, almost 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. His longest one was 81. But I just thought that he got better every single year when you look at the stats and you break them down. Real intriguing guy. And this is a guy that you can probably get in the second or third round. So if anything, I probably would have to go with Desmond Ridder, man.
I'm like 500. I really paid zero attention to the quarterback position, and so
just because, the question.
Yeah, no, I know, and so I'm gonna go with my guy Eagle Eyes Landry, because whenever he gets a chance to let me know, he loved Kenny Pickett. So I'm gonna go take one of the guys who always comment Kenny Pickett on my videos. I'm gonna go Kenny Pickett, and again, I'm gonna start looking low key on some quarterbacks just in case. I don't have to. I can give him my real reaction, and I'll be like, oh, he sucks because someone told me. You know what I mean? I just want to look at him a little bit just for GP.
Yep.
Real quick, Donald Shipley said with a $5 super chat, as a fan, I believe this can be the year where we build our team, forget giving up all the capital, one player, and build your team in the draft. That is what we all want as content creators, is just to build this team and see where the things fall. Green Wigman with a $20 super chat. Understand the frustration with everybody. Have to keep in mind that this team is assembled now, will not be the team starting in September. Draft, OTA cuts, and a last-minute trade. Stay patient, my brothers. Eagle Nation. Hey, we're supposed to be Negadelphians, right? We've been getting some positivity in the chat. Kinda. Vernon with the $2 super chat. A pass rush will turn into an 11-win team. Yep, and that's why we got Derek Barnett for the pass rush, right? G said everybody keeps depending on 2023, like we're going to have a top 5 pick to get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young.
Right. That's kind exactly that's my point. You have to. How are you going to have a top 5 pick next year when you basically got a team that's probably going to win 7 to 9 games if things stand the way they do? So unless you're willing to trade some capital draft picks for picks next year, I don't see how they get in the top 5 to get any of these young quarterbacks.
Well, I'll push back a little bit here. I'll push back a little bit here, 500, because we're not playing last place schedule.
Right.
So, I mean, if Hurts,
but you're still playing in a weak NFC, right?
If you're playing a second place schedule, but if Hurts doesn't progress, I think there is a likelihood. I'm not saying you'd be top 5, but there's a likelihood you'd be back in the top 15 picking again. You're right. It doesn't guarantee you, but at the same time, does that mean that you reach for a guy just because you don't know you'll be in draft position the following? You know what I mean? Like it puts you in that weird situation.
No, I agree with you. Fundamentally, I agree with you. But I think the way that they think, they're looking at, and this is just my theory, that because they have the picks now, they're not going to wait a year from now. You know how quarterbacks rise in these drafts. And I think the Eagles, the way, at least from the impression I get from free agency, how they're handling everything, it just seems like to me like they're keeping everything so that they can make a move up in this draft for a quarterback. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but let's say they don't get a quarterback, right? And next year they need to get into the top 5, top 3 for one of these quarterbacks. Yeah. Most likely, normally the Eagles are usually between 11 and 20. somewhere in there. So you're talking about only one first-round pick in 2023. So essentially, really, to get up there, you're going to give 3 first-round picks up for the next 3 years. It just seems like if they don't get a quarterback this year, they've got to not draft 3 first round. They can't draft 3 picks. They've got to trade one of those picks.
G, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we're going to have a top 5 pick. I'm saying that if the assumption is that Jalen Hurts is not the guy, hence the reason we would be in there looking for those 2 quarterbacks, Stroud, Bryce Young.
Yeah.
That would versus a much tougher schedule. You're not going to probably ink your way out to those wins. I'm not going to project what they're going to do because I don't even know what this roster is going to look like yet. There's still a lot of time left. But
the other thing I want to say is that
understanding the conversation.
The NFC is wide open. It's not a great conference.
I ain't gonna lie, yo. This might be the first draft that I covered or that I looked at. I don't see a quarterback worthy of getting drafted in the first round. I don't.
But they will just because of desperation.
I understand that. But
I kind of agree with you. I agree.
It's a lot of desperate teams that picked before us too. So I don't think Malik Willis is going to even be there. But you having this capital, man, Howie could really move up. Howie could do whatever he want in this draft. Yeah, Howie got enough capital to get to 1 if he want.
Now maybe Howie can manipulate things, right? Maybe he can act like he's interested in Kenny Pickett, get somebody like that, and get the Steelers or somebody willing to come up and trade assets to him, and then he can somehow finagle a way to get 3 first-round picks the next year. That is all possible. It's all out there. All I know is that something has to give in this whole thing. And the other question I have for you guys is, how much do you think the Eagles have really caused this whole quarterback talk and controversy by not really showing faith in action to Jalen Hurts? They say, oh, yeah, well, Jalen Hurts, but action-wise, it doesn't seem like they really believe in him.
I think they cost a lot. I mean, and then now you're going out to dinner with people. I don't know how serious going to dinner is if it ain't the GM or the owner, but that's showing interest, man. I haven't seen them or heard them talk about doing any of that for any skill players. You know what I mean, to help Jalen Hurts. But then on the flip side of that, you do bring back Kelsey and make him the highest paid center. So I guess that kind of counts. But that's Kelsey. If he wants to stay, he can stay. What do you do about the wide receivers? What do you do? Why haven't you tried to move Rager? Why haven't you tried to sign one of these big name wide receivers, man? I don't get why they didn't get a wide receiver out of free agency this year. Because we all came into the season knowing that that's what we needed. So I'm kind of skeptical, man, about the moves.
I hear you, but let me ask you this about Kelsey, right? Kelsey's a guy who's probably as deep into the organization as possible. And I know they don't let none of their stuff out and Howie's still going to do him. But maybe Kelsey has a conversation yo, am I running it back with, are we really running it back with Hurts? Because I believe in his team, right? Or am I going to run it back with a guy that I'm just unfamiliar with and blah, 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 blah. So, Kelsey coming back another year just shows me that at least the locker room looks to be locked in, and we look to try to be competitive. Although, again, now as 500 said, that the other actions haven't really matched up with. You bring back Fletch, you bring back Kelsey. These are 2 guys that we are going to move on from in the next year or so. So if you want to rip the Band-Aid off, right? Blah 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 blah, and we're not going to be competing. You let these guys walk. For you to bring them back and make $14 million highest paid on a year per year basis, 1-year deal, and then bringing back Fletch to do all that stuff, you're still trying to stay competitive, but then you do the opposite in the position that, as LB said in 500, that we all thought a veteran wide receiver and Pascal considered a veteran, but you know what I mean? It's
Mike, you definitely stay and hold on, Gates. I get right out your way. You're definitely trying to stay in being competitive or whatever the case may be, but making a move like this and talking to Jason Kelsey, it also, and I think that we all overlook this, is bringing back the culture, the culture of the Philadelphia Eagles. Jason Kelsey is one of the guys that can mold these guys of the culture of the Philadelphia Eagles, how to stay together, how to be a fit. When you look at the Eagles, we're not like one of these franchises that everybody just goes out and do what the hell that they want. Like, this is really like a family type of team. You get what I'm saying? Like, these teams, especially since when Doug Peterson was here, and
our own teach our own.
Exactly. So when you look at it, man, like when they break huddles and they say these things, like when Michael Jenkins was here and all those kind of stuff, they break huddles saying family and all for one and all those kind of things. So the culture is one of the bigger things that we tend to look over, but that can help you have a tight football team. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to explain it to where as though you understand what I'm trying to say. Basically, like, the culture of your team means a whole lot. And I know that from being on teams that had not had culture and being on teams that have had culture.
Kelsey's important, though. Kelsey's important because as much as we give Stoutland the credit, man, Kelsey is the centerpiece of the offensive line.
He is the quarterback of the offensive line.
There's been some guys that have been developed on the offensive line. The development of the offensive line is big.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying it as he's not, and I agree. We like our own. We like the new draftees to be taught by these guys, whether a different position or not. This is how we hold ourselves as Philadelphia Eagles. Blah 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 blah. With that being said, I'm just saying, if this is get a quarterback and kind of really hit, and then you probably don't prioritize bringing back guys that you know is going to be one more year. Where now you are, as LB said, letting Kelsey go would have been even a more slap in the face to Jalen Hurts, who has his last year to try to prove he's the guy and stuff. So, it's been mixed signals, to say the least.
Yeah. Just to clear some things up, guys, Fletcher Cox will be off the team potentially next year. Anything's possible, guys. But his money is not off the book. That is not an accurate statement.
I think they'd rather keep him than to just pay him dead money.
Now, they're already going to pay it eventually.
Well, and both Fletcher Cox is 1 year, Jason Kelsey's 1 year, correct? They could both be off the team. So, in theory, the Eagles could have gone to them and say, hold on. Sorry, my Siri started acting up again. What I was saying, in theory, if you go to Kelsey, if you go to Kelsey and you go to Fletcher Cox, you say, we want you for one more year, knowing you're going to draft a quarterback, but he's not going to play. You're going to have Jalen Hurts. So essentially, they know they're coming back with Jalen Hurts. But that doesn't mean the Eagles aren't going to add a quarterback for the future.
Try to stop. Yeah, you're right. I try to use it in the sense of why they won't, but that is definitely what they could do, especially if they believe that these quarterbacks have talent, just not first year ready.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, man.
Who at that age isn't going to take a 1 year, $14 million deal, too?
Yeah, I'll take it right now. I promise you, I'll get less penalties than Derek Barnett next year.
Hey, real quick, shout out to DB in the chat. Calvin Ridley, I believe, if the Calvin Ridley rumors were true, then I believe Howie's trying to help. He's pretty much trying to say. Bo Brew said Howie probably really likes the wide receiver class. I mean, he likes the wide receivers he missed on, too.
I have a hard time believing they're going to draft the wide receiver 3 straight years.
This wide receiver class got a lot of talent, man.
I think you could get guys in a second. I think there's some really good guys.
Our scouts were in on the right player. Howie went with the coaching staff.
Right.
Yeah, we did. It was Justin Jefferson, right?
Yeah. People don't believe me when I say that, but that's true. Yeah. It is.
Aaron Moore, coaching staff wanted Rager?
The analytics department wanted they wanted Rager, I believe.
Jefferson
and the scouts.
Yeah.
The scouts wanted Jefferson.
Yeah. So Aaron Moorhead, the wide receiver coach, he knows the Rager family. And he's got relationships down there in Texas. And he was the one that was on Rager from the jump. So the scouts were basically trying to tell him, like, hey, man, like, Justin Jefferson's the better player. Like, we're not saying Rager doesn't have talent, but Justin Jefferson is like next level in route running. And he went with the coaching. He went with the coaching and analytics over the scouting department. And that's why we ended up with Rager over Justin Jefferson.
You got to fire Moorhead.
Who drafted Ortega-Whiteside? Who drafted the Umbrella Man? Because I don't know how you
That's a
look at
great
DK
question, Fido,
Metcalf
I don't know.
and then Arcega-Whiteside and go, oh, yeah, I want this guy with the umbrella. I mean, how do you...
Whiteside has some really good measurables coming out, though.
What was it?
He was good in the red zone.
He was a red zone threat. He was a.
I remember
Dude, DK Metcalf was a top 10 talent.
No, trust me. I know. Listen, I damn near got famous off of it, man.
Yeah, but
I
look,
mean, I swear I thought we were drafting DK Metcalf right there. I was
like,
when I saw
the dude
Oh, my
had
God.
like 0.2% body fat, bruh. He's a physical specimen.
I think they heard something about him, like locker room stuff.
Yeah, it was a problem too.
It was another. I think it was AJ Brown. Everybody kept saying he was only good because of AJ Brown in college. That's what everybody kept telling me.
But also, am I lying? Let me know. Correct me. Did he run like a worse cone time than Tom Brady or something? So
It was really
part
bad.
of the thing was the locker room, his neck, and the fact that he's brolic and can run straight, but can he get in and out of breaks? But hey, we all know he can definitely do that. But I will say this: J-Jaw, right? Trash. However, when I watched again, this was before I did YouTube. I watched the highlights, right? I'm like, you know what? This guy could be a red zone threat. Like, I low key cracked a smile from his college highlights, and I it's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair to them, he's not particularly great at route running. He's not particularly great at coming out of his actual, like, getting to the top of his routes.
Just throw the ball.
He's not very good at it. The problem is he's so big and he's so freaking physical, like gifted. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It didn't matter. I mean, there's not a lot of dudes that are built like him, and you could be right on every point except for one point. That one point can bury you, and I think that's what happened with DK.
Yeah.
Real quick, shout out to Professor Chaos with the $5 super chat. We're not an NFL team. We're a quarterback factory. Remember, we're getting it twisted. We picked the wrong thing. Shout out to iShine, though, dropping a $50 bomb. Appreciate that guy, always showing love. He said there are 8 teams this year that don't have first-round picks. Assume Eagles trade their 19th pick for a first-rounder next year, in which the quarterback class is better next year, and we'll get C.J. Stroud or Bama's quarterback, Young. I guarantee y'all Bryce Young. He said, I guarantee y'all we aren't picking a quarterback this year. What are your takes on, again, 8 teams without a first round pick next year?
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question,
season.
in the comments. Let me ask you a question. If you're in that situation, and I'm just going to assume you got these 8 teams, right? And you know they want to come up and they want to take a quarterback at 19. And you don't want this player. You want to get back further in the draft and you want to collect that first round pick for the following year. Would you then consider the roster of each team and how good this quarterback can make them?
Yeah.
So that way you can play, like, you get what I'm saying? So that way you can play the value of the pick.
Yeah. That was my initial thinking, was that they were going to trade that 19th pick, try to accumulate a first-round pick next year. It's 2 first-round picks. You're still going to have to give up more probably to get way up there. But you do have to consider it, because a team like Chicago, they don't have a first-round pick, but they may not have an interest in trading up to the first round. You don't know how many of these teams are going to be content with what they are, and you don't want to get a team that is going to be, win 11, 12 games that doesn't have a first-round pick. I don't know all the teams. So they have to be careful. I mean, Howie's going to have to be very tricky with that, because, like I said, you can't be in a situation where you do all this stuff and then next year it's like, hey, we need a quarterback now. Well, we're picking 15th or 16th again, but that's the only first-round pick we have. Then you're screwed. You're not going to get up and get them.
You would definitely have to hope. Well, you would definitely have to look at the 8 teams. And again, as you guys try to project which one is going to be the worst, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But then you would also, again, you would hope. See, and this is what I don't want to be in, right? I'm all for Jalen Hurts getting better and being better, and I hope that happens. But like, as 500 said, if we don't get a quarterback this year, which I'm still hoping not, and we do hedge our bet, right? We get, a team that's suspects, first round pick next year, they come up and do it, and they falter, right? You would think that mid-season or, week 11, week 12, you start to know this football team with a second place schedule. If Hurts is proven he's not the guy, you would think second place schedule, Hurts is not the guy via the proof, your record can't be good. But the worst part of a season is knowing that you got 5 games left and you're kind of hoping you lose, right? You don't really say it out loud, but in the back of your head, you're like, dang it, because it's over. I know 500 would say it out loud. But I hate it because I wake up on Sunday, I'm excited, and I can never really root for my team to lose. Last game when Doug Peterson pulled him, it's different. It's one game. I can take my pride away for a half. But like when you got 4 games left and you're like, dang, Hurts is leading the league, not doing what he's supposed to do, them 4 games are miserable.
Yeah.
4 games count. Them 4 games will count for Hurts too, because if you could put a strong 4 games together, you could change your season possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
the truth is
picking at 18 again. You know what I mean? Like,
I
agree. I hate it.
Miami screwed the hell out of us. That was a 1-17.
Oh yeah.
1-7. I mean, we're looking at top 5 draft pick right there, and then they win 7 straight, and then they go get Tyreek Hill. They keep screwing us.
Yeah, that is crazy. We definitely thought we was going to be picking in a lottery.
1-7. They were 1-7.
I think the Colts started like 0-2. So we sitting there like, yeah, as long as Carson Wentz just stay healthy, they can keep losing. Then they started winning. They ended up winning 9 games. So we all in the same, like everything.
Hey, Carson Wentz helped us at the end. He almost went to the playoffs.
Yeah. He choked, thank God.
Thank goodness. Shout out to
now we get to play him twice. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
No, real quick. What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you see Carson not on the whole season? Forget the whole season. Just in the first matchup, do you see Carson tearing us up in the first matchup or wetting the bed? There's no in between. If you had to pick either killing us or wetting the bed,
he about to wet the bed. I'll go first. He gonna wet the bed because there's no way in the world that listen, when he see us in Washington, he gonna be different. He's damn sure not gonna play good at the link. Damn sure. Now, he ain't built like that. He ain't gonna play good at the link. He gonna wet the bed both games.
I'm gonna tell you, he's gonna tear it up. He's gonna tear it up. So. That is our luck, man. That we deal somebody, they come back and they haunt us. He may suck the rest of the year. He's just gonna screw us over. You know what I mean? Like that's the shit that happens to us all the time.
He's capable too.
It's gonna be interesting 500 because they went out there and they got McLaurin out there at wide receiver, and then they got De'Ami Brown from UNC. The problem was they didn't have the quarterback to push the ball. Right. And I think that hurt him last year. Now it's a catch-22 with Carson. He's certainly got the arm. He can push the ball. That's not his issue. But you talk about trying to play hero ball and extend plays beyond reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you. I was going to ask AC, do you think McLaurin's the best receiver he's played with?
Possible. Yeah. I think that's I think you can make that argument. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's McLaurin, Alshon Jeffrey, then Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Here's the thing,
look what he did with D-Jax in 1 half.
I know. Yeah. They can protect him, man. They're going to be a problem.
And that's the scary part. Like I said earlier, you go into a situation to where as though you just left a team that had arguably the best offensive line in the game, especially in the AFC. And you go to a team that probably at number 20 in offensive line.
Like, Sheriff left. Their right guard, their best offensive lineman
he left.
With Carson Wentz. He was like, I don't want a part of this. I'm just kidding. I don't know why he left. But hey, you know what's funny?
Stay taking shots, boy.
You know what's funny? I got to now. I've been listening to like the real Ed Oliver and Louis T, right? It's so fun to be just low key in their chat, listening and talk about Carson Wentz. They want to be so happy, but they don't want to come across with like, I don't know if any Eagle fans up here listening. They've been like walking the edge. Like I know they want to celebrate, but they're not sure if they can. It's great.
Right. They want to celebrate. They want to be happy, but they can't do it in all confidence because they spent years talking shit about him when he was an Eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
listen, yeah.
I got something for them this season. Don't worry.
I do think Carson Wentz has his best chance to be successful. If he's ever going to revive his career, it's there. I just think I don't know. I just think there's something about him that's going to keep haunting him. He's just cursed.
There's got to be something about his personality because I just don't understand. I mean, he had 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Sure, he choked at the end of the year. Well, I mean, there's a lot of players that weren't vaccinated. So you know what I mean? If the Colts didn't like him, they would love me. Yeah. I'll tell you that.
They spoke on that.
Not nobody for the Colts though. Like they wanted everybody on that team to be.
But I mean, if that's the reason why they didn't do it, then that's on the Colts. That ain't on Carson Wentz, in my opinion.
It is.
Yeah, they spun that weird narrative on that.
Why did our locker room not like him anymore?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. To me, I'm looking at it like our locker room, their locker room. It must be something about his personality.
But nobody said the locker room never liked him.
They did.
From the tweets that I seen, you had Leonard, you had the offensive line, you had all these guys tweeting that we're going to miss you. So I don't know if that's fake or whatever the case may be, but. I don't know. It's funny, and I said this when he was here. It's funny how you had a guy like Jason Kelsey, you had a guy like Michael Jenkins, you had Lane Johnson, all defending this guy. But then these anonymous sources, everybody wants to believe. How do you believe anonymous sources when you got other guys that are coming up and sticking up for this guy?
At that moment, I defended him too. But not no more.
Yeah. I tell you what,
I'm doing that because he's not here.
I think he would still be in Philly if it wasn't for Howie Roseman. He'd still be in Philly. The only reason he went out was because Howie Roseman lied to him.
I think if Howie
flat out lied to him,
I think he'd still be here.
Yeah, he lied to him. And I can understand what Carson was pissed off.
Did you hear their narrative about that? About how because they spun a really weird narrative around the COVID thing where they said. Basically, what they said is that, yes, other players weren't vaccinated, but the way they made it sound like is they were depending upon Carson Wentz to be the leader and to spur a movement into that. It was weird. It was just a really weird.
Yeah, that's
trying to like was the quarterback.
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, you're talking about other grown men, though, man. Like trying to make them like. I don't know if that would have.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Like if that's why they got rid of him, then Washington got a steal because. He wasn't that. I mean, he had some bad games and he choked at the end. But I still look at him and say I still think he could play in the league.
Yeah, let's just say this: he's the best quarterback that Washington had in a hot minute. That's all I know. You know what I mean? We just go. Yeah,
Brian, since what RG3
for 1 year. Yeah,
Cousins.
Yeah.
Cousins was decent.
Except for Cousins is also a choker though. But.
Yeah. Shout out to Prime Time for wishing Fresh a happy birthday. And Anime Black Live said most fans blame Hurts for missing wide open receivers last year and our passing game being weak. I think Howie thinks that with a better quarterback, our passing game would be better. DT, quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback, first round. You know, if you are under the
the passing game would be better with a better quarterback.
Yeah, if that's what it was, like I said, I do agree with Fresh. There's times where Rager and Quez and all them weren't getting off the line of scrimmage the right way. They were getting blah, 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 blah. But there also were times that, Jalen, missed some things. It happens to every quarterback, but it happened to him a lot more. And, 23-year-old, you got to factor all that in. You say the bad and the good. He got to get better. Simple as that. I don't think anybody on this panel, I don't think any Hurts fan will, allow themselves to ignore it a second year in a row, and especially if for some strange reason it gets either the same or worse. He has to get better, and it don't got to be like week one. Holy snap, is that Pat Mahomes? No, but you got to see it got to graduate even faster throughout the season this year because you've seen stuff. You heard D coordinator say he don't know how to read defense. Read it, start reading. Read it. Yeah. You got the offseason.
But and I will say this too. This is his first time having the same playbook.
True.
His first time in the same system in his entire career.
Is he healthy? Is he fully healthy now? I mean, one of the things that bothers me with Hurts, or that I worry about is that I don't think you can keep letting him run as much as they do. He's already had ankle surgery. So how much time is he missing before he's in there working on the things that he has to work on to get better? Having surgery, is that going to hold him up? Is that going to screw him up? Is it going to slow him up? And then next year, what are you going to do? Keep running him? At some point, you got to cut that out because he ain't going to last if he keeps taking a beating. I'm
kind of glad he does have to kind of sit down and stay put right now because he need to have his head in that book. He need to know where every check down is at on every single play. He needs to know that book like the back of his hand. I don't want him running around squatting 600 pounds. I don't want him doing nothing but understanding that damn book. I'm glad he got to sit down. I need to know that if he'd have used his check downs, he'd have had 4,500 passing yards. You know what I mean? If he'd have just used the check down, he got to get his head in that book and know where every outlet is for every given play. He didn't know the playbook to its fullest extent. You know what I mean? And that makes sense. He's had 5 different coaches the last 5 years. You know what I mean? So I know he's physically gifted. He needs to study.
I think that's what they'll do. I think they're going to put him in film. I think he'll be running film there. Yeah. Interesting side note. I didn't realize this, but Stan Efferding is actually the guy that trains Lane Johnson and some of these dudes. I didn't realize that. He's the dude that's working with him. If you guys don't know who Stan Efferding is, look up Rhino Rants on YouTube. But I didn't realize that. That's interesting sideway note there.
He's a physical trainer?
He's not really a physical trainer. He's like a personal trainer. He used to work with Oregon. He used to work with the Oregon Ducks, and then he won some kind of award or title for being the world's strongest bodybuilder.
Oh wow!
He was the dude that was on Shark Tank. He was the guy who was on Shark Tank.
Do we know of any quarterback coaches training Hurts? Any going quarterback specialists?
Quincy
anything
Avery
like
was
that?
The last name I heard.
The same guy that trained Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Quincy Avery, I think.
Avery. Real quick, shout out to Professor Chaos. He said the Whopper Jr. hands Pickett. Jay Kills comes in with the $2 super chat. Pickett is Wentz 2.0 with small hands. No. Jose Romans with the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. Rufus coming in said they have drafted 13 wide receivers in the last 12 years.
Damn.
He's going to draft the wide out every year, no matter what quarterback. Yo, I'm not saying it's not true, but when I read that, I just thought to myself, how? You know what I mean? But you're talking about not in the first round. You're talking about, in the totality of a draft. But dang, 13 wide receivers out of 12 years? That's rough just to even think about that. Skid said DJ Moore was born in Philly. Bring him home. That's the Panthers wide receiver. Didn't he just get paid or something? Or no?
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
I just remember his name being.
They don't have no quarterback.
Yeah, I remember his name being mentioned a lot last year. Was he on the trade block or something? I don't know. I just remember that name being mentioned a lot. And whatever. Robert Dredden with the $5 super chat changed of the subject real quick. Villanova just won. They got more playoffs win this year than Dallas in 27 years. Go Birds. Yo,
that's great.
Shout out to Robert Dredden. He always comes in and drops a Dallas diss while pumping us up. Michael Fowler, $20 donation. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Super Tony with the $5. Why Malik Willis look like DK playing at quarterback? He's so big. Pause. Yo, like I said, not just a throw, but just his stature is like
he's definitely got an NFL build. But again,
big.
So does Jalen Hurts. Can he read? Can Malik read?
Yeah. And I agree. And that's why I'm thinking as we all know, I'm not trying to go quarterback. I'm not trying to start all over. I'm not saying Hurts. I'm not saying, look, we started all over. Hurts might only be 25% yet, but we still got a head start. I'm not trying to go back and read chapter 1 again. I don't like it. I want to see chapter 2. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go back and read chapter 1.
I just wish that chapter 2 had different pages than what was on chapter 1. It's the same script. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If
that's the case, chapter 2 is going to be is boring.
Chapter 2 should have been Cheetah. Cheetah.
Titled Cheetah.
Now we're talking.
Jake said, what if he drafted Jefferson over Rager? Smith might not be here. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that? How do you feel
I
about
think
that?
that I think that that's very likely. Maybe you have Parsons on your team now, or maybe you have 4 first-round picks because they trade with Chicago, or if you could go one step further, if they would have drafted DK Metcalf, you might not have had to draft Jefferson. And so when you miss on these draft picks, everything compounds itself.
I really don't count DK as a miss. Like how I used to.
I do. Second round pick. Because it was a second round pick. If it was we only had 1 second round pick, I get it. But that was the second round pick.
He was the second round pick?
Yeah. Because we took Miles Sanders with the second. So if there was ever a time to take
a risk.
That is a risk because you literally chose Arthur-Whiteside over DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, see,
twice.
I would say this real quick. Twice. I will say this. I agree with people who say everybody passed on him to a degree because everybody who wanted a wide receiver passed on him, right? The people who draft offensive linemen and defensive tackles, they wanted to go get their guy, or maybe they thought that was the best player on the board. But it's only the people who drafted wide receivers, and that's a small list, and we're on it.
Right.
I mean,
I think the Whiteside one is ridiculous because you drafted that position group, and somehow in your mind you thought that Arthur-Whiteside was more talented than DK Metcalf.
And that's a second round pick. Like if you're ever going to take a chance, there it is.
No, I understand the Miles Sanders one because you prioritized running back right there. But now it's like, all right, now we need a wide receiver. Right. And we got Arthur-Whiteside and DK Metcalf.
and you're looking at both of those guys.
Stupid.
It's and he's got the greatest name. I can't remember what it is, but DK stands for something. Somebody knows, type it in the chat. It's like the greatest. It's like a Greek god name. You got to get that guy. Just on name alone.
Oh yeah, 500 is all about the names. He's like Devontae Smith.
You can tell 50, like 70% of the time I can tell somebody's going to be good by name. By name. JJ Arthur-Whiteside stinks.
So let me ask
you stinks.
So when you hear Speedy Claxton, what do you think?
Decent.
He was a bum.
but that was basketball though, right? We're talking about football. It's got to be.
I got you. I was just saying you said names, so I just threw a name out there. Speedy Claxton.
That's not a bad name though. It doesn't.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It's a good name. He was fast though. He was fast.
But
he just was a bum. Yeah.
That's basketball. It's got to be football. Football, you can tell.
Okay. You see, you ain't
like 80%.
So I feel you. You definitely got to draft a dude named Justin Jefferson.
Perfect.
You got to draft that man.
So let me ask you, what name sounds better to you? 500, Treylon Burks or Chris Olave? What name? Just off the name.
That is really good. That is really good. That is good because I really like Olave.
What are we doing here?
I'm gonna say Olave.
Olave.
I like Olave.
Yeah, I like Olave
because that's smooth. That comes off smooth.
Like if you tell a chicken name Olave, like she might melt. You hear me? So
here's DK Metcalf's name. His real name, DK stands for DeKalen Zacharias. That is bad shit. DeKalen Zacharias. If I ever have a boy, I'm naming him DeKalen Zacharias. That is some Greek. That's like Greek god shit right there. You take that, man.
We missed out on the Greek.
DeKalen Zacharias. God, I love that name.
Hey, shout out to Joey Z with the $2 super chat. Howie is taking the quarterback first round. Get ready. Hey, 500 getting a lot of people on his side. Mike said, best in the business. Too many holes for Howie to sit on his hands. First starter. I'm glad he's not overpaying, but get your guy. Yeah. Interesting. Joseph said, at LB, you have nailed these wide receiver prospects every single year. Do you think we need a veteran or a draft pick? If a draft pick, who are you looking at? So who's your top wide receiver?
My top wide receiver, I got two. I like Olave. I really like Chris Olave, man. The speed is spoke volumes. And the dude out of North Dakota State, what's his damn name?
Christian Watson.
I like him. I like those two guys. But it's a lot. It's so many other picks that I won't be mad at. Like Garrett, Garrett Wilson
Yeah.
I like him. You know
Long
what I
time
mean?
Eagle fan. He was like, I made sure I let the Eagles know I've been down.
Right.
I've been down with the culture.
I like him. I like Sky Moore. I like Burks. I mean, it's some good
I
prospects.
like
man.
them all.
So that's
I
why
really
I'm not really tripping over a lot of the wide receivers.
No.
Like Cheetah, obviously, that's something you could trip about. But I think you'll be okay, man, if you pick one of these studs out this draft.
I agree.
Hey,
So I ain't
there's
really
a lot
tripping
of
on wide
them.
receiver. But I think you have to draft a wide receiver this year.
Yeah, I think so. In the second round, I would in the
Yeah.
second round. Like I would like to go for Christian Watson. Like I would like to go after him in the second round. I even like the kid Pickens. I kind of like him a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. He's good.
So Denzel Washington's evil twin. It's hoodie 500 in the chat. He said, "Legendary link up. What's up, players? Go Birds."
What's going on? Somebody asked me for my autograph today. They thought I was Denzel. I was like, lady, I'm not Denzel Washington. I'm sorry. She was very mad at me.
That's crazy. Mr. Wing said,
If
"Remember
you
Howie?"
I'm Ashton Kutcher. You hear me?
I thought that, dude. I was going to ask you where's Mila.
I'm Ashton Kutcher.
There
You look a little bit like him. I'm going to call you Ashton from now on.
Hey, only when I drink. You hear me?
And you should be on your birthday. He said, "Remember how he was inches from doing the Calvin Ridley deal? That was his big play, and the parlay nonsense killed it. They aren't taking a quarterback."
Yeah, but why does he not have a plan B? No plan C? No plan D?
All right. So how y'all feel about like a Julio Jones?
Too old.
Too banged up, man. I think the hamstring is done.
Yeah, the only way I would have taken him, and I talked about him, is like what I was trying to stretch, and I didn't even just say Julio Jones, but when there was more guys on the table and Allen Robinson was still on the table, I said I preferred him. But my thing was, if we got in our head that we were going to draft another young wide receiver with one of these first round picks or a first, second round pick, my take was, I don't care if they're 29, 30, 31, 32. This guy's only here 1 year to help the future grow, because if you look at all the positions, right? I don't want an older cornerback, older defensive lineman, older linebacker, older offensive lineman, because we got youth and age and old age there. But the youngest position on this team is wide receiver. We got nobody. They're all in their early 20s. So that would be the one position. I don't care if he was a 32-year-old who had a little bit left in him, like the Emmanuel Sanders of the world and stuff like that, just because that was the position that I thought you can get youth and off the field production would have been as good as on the field production for that position if we went that way. That's what I was trying to draw out.
But a lot of those vets not just trying to go nowhere for a 1 year deal if it's not to go play with like Rodgers or Mahomes.
True. That's why you would have to wait for the fourth, fifth string. But I mean, it is what it is. But I was just trying to portray that. That is only if we were, Quez Young, keeping him, trying to grow him. Devontae Young, keeping him, growing him. And the new guy, whether it's the late first round pick or the early second. Just say we would pick a wide receiver early in this draft, whether it's first or second. Say he is legit, right? Say how he gets it right. Then you got Devontae as your future. This guy is your future. And so at that point, I wouldn't care about the age to come in and wrangle with these guys for that 1 year. That was what I was trying to portray. And I talked about Julio because it was the breaking news at that time.
Why are we trying to act like Julio 40 years old or something? Like,
he's 33, right?
Yeah. We trying to act like he like 40 years old.
I mean, he's not 39. I wouldn't take nobody who's 39. 39.
I am.
That's why I'm saying it.
But in all seriousness, like you said, like last year, people laughed at me when I said we needed a veteran. I banged on the table saying we needed a veteran wide receiver. Kept saying it. People said I was tripping. No, you need a veteran wide receiver. And I said last year, Larry Fitzgerald, Golden Tate, these kind of guys. This is not just for play on the field. These is guys, especially when I say Julio, when you look at it, he's a guy from where? Alabama. He's really one of the first, not first, but one of the guys from Alabama that kind of started this whole wide receiver. Like a lot of wide receivers wasn't coming from Alabama. He was one of those guys that's like, damn, studs is coming from Alabama. And to have him in there with a guy like Devontae Smith to show him the ropes. Because let's not act like just 2 years ago he wasn't one of the best, if not the best wide receiver in the game. I just thought his quarterback wasn't good enough. So when you look at it, if you bring this guy in, I think that he helps not only on the field, but off the field. And if he plays 6 to 7 games, that's just an addition, especially if you can get him for the low.
I still want to be healthy, but
I do want him to be healthy, but I'm being realistic at the same time. Because last year, I think things would have been better for our wide receivers if we would have had a Larry Fitzgerald or a Golden, somebody like that in the locker room.
Yeah, but I do agree with LB. It's hard to persuade them. They're like, bro, I only got a year left. I'm trying to do it the right way. So it's hard to persuade. But I just was throwing it out there that, a lot of people always say old. At that position, that's the only position that I didn't really care about age. But again, LB is right. You got to get him to want to come play for whatever reason.
Yeah. I would have picked up Golden Tate. I would have brought Alshon Jeffrey back last year. That's what I wanted us to do. It would have helped. It would have brought some structure to him. You know what I mean?
Where nobody signed him.
Nobody.
Literally. That's something.
That's crazy. Shine said absolutely get Atlanta, for example. Yeah, get Atlanta's pick for sure. Mr. Michael said, is it possible that the sign of Barnett means they may be putting a trade together for Metcalf that includes Josh Sweat?
Oh, I want Metcalf, but no, I don't think you trade Sweat, especially because you're not going to get the production from Barnett anyways. So
I would trade a first round pick and Barnett to get Metcalf.
I would trade first round pick and Rager. Maybe they'll take Rager from us.
Rager just hurts the trade a little bit.
He might. Try and give him something.
That's crazy. Dang, I lost my spot.
I heard Julio might be going to the Colts.
It makes sense. Matt Ryan's over there.
Yeah, it does make sense.
I know Michael Pittman about to have a great year.
Yeah, I like Pittman.
Is Ty still available, or did they go back to the Colts?
No, I think he's still available.
Yeah, let's trying to get these out. Shout out to Joseph with the $1 super chat. Rufus said, "We have a quarterback whose only weakness is passing."
That's one way to put it.
That hurts. Matt said, "Where's Joey?" I'm not sure where he's at. Joseph said, "You missed my last super chat." Dang, I'm very sorry about that, but there's no way I can get up in this. The kid said, "I want to point out that this was Jalen Hurts' quarterback coach first time seeing the NFL defense too. Brian Johnson. He was just at the college level the year before." How do y'all feel about that?
I mean, that's true. I mean, it's a lot, man. Jalen Hurts is developing, and his whole receiving core is developing. He don't have no rookie. He don't have no veteran coach to say, "Hey, throw it this way," or the ball should have been out at this time. He don't have nobody in his ear that's going to do that right now.
I mean, Johnson is a former quarterback. So, I mean, when it comes to the fundamental stuff, I trust he's able to do that. I don't know what his exact role when it comes to game planning and stuff like that or advanced scouting is. I'm sure he has a role there, but I don't think it's as pertinent as it's being made down below in the comment, to be quite honest. More so, your quarterback coach is just there to try to help the quarterback get comfortable in the pocket. That's really what it's coming down to.
Basically, he wasn't even on the field until like week 8, right?
Yeah, they brought him down They brought him down from the box to the field.
Yeah,
and that's when you started to see. That's when you started to see a little bit of signs, right? I mean, there were some things you saw, in the Broncos game, the Chargers game, even though we lost, the Raiders game in the beginning when we were actually under center. There were some games and that not just win or lose, but you saw like, oh, Jalen's doing this. He, the whole not throwing to the left, not throwing in the middle, staying in the pocket. And now he didn't do it consistently, but you saw some things.
Yeah. No, you guys know if I would have suspected anything, I would have went off on him the way I went off on Press.
Taylor.
Press Taylor.
Yeah, I couldn't stand that dude, man. It's not that I didn't think that he wasn't a smart guy and that he didn't know anything about football, but what is that man back as a quarterback, man?
I
He just
did.
did not strike me as a quarterback coach. It felt like they were trying to hide him behind Carson. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah. Super Tony said, look out for Wentz because he did tell McLaurin after a Washington game in 2020 he always wanted a wide receiver like him, and now he got it.
That's another guy we could have gotten instead of JJ. I think a Whiteside.
Oh, McLaurin, I forgot. He was
on the board.
Yep, he was on the board.
JB said you got to draft a guy whose name cannot be mixed with Aggie. We can't be saying, might be going to attempt to ruin Alave's name like
Listen,
that.
man, we ran Nelson Aguilar out of town, and now we got Rager.
You know,
that's our karma. Hey, that's our karma.
Yeah.
The Arcega-Whiteside year, wasn't that the year Deebo Samuel came out?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we passed up on him too.
Yeah, but I think Deebo was like third or fourth round though. I don't think he was in the second.
That's what I'm saying.
Still bad.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but a lot like that. That's not it.
It's hard to predict all of these guys.
And McLaurin went in the second round, so that makes it worse. You get what I'm saying?
You know, it's all bad. Let's face it, it's all bad.
Yeah, and anything that you say with that guy JJ, I think a Whiteside name in it is bad.
Bad.
That's what it is on that one.
He said resigning Derek Barnett ruined my whole week. I thought we were going to move on from penalty kick. Yo, that's why. Look, a lot of people were mad at me in my video too because he was like, "Man, you're overreacting." I'm like, bro, I was eating dinner and I couldn't finish it. Like I said I had to put a pin comment. I said maybe I'll calm down a little bit later, maybe. But I wasn't trying to be wasted, you know what I mean? But Eagles been dropping news at 4:00, and that's exact 4:30. That's exactly when Philly might be chowing down. And it's like, stop doing me dirty, right? Pascal. I mean, it was okay. And now DB, come on.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I mean, LB was sitting on the porch like it's gonna
rain. I was so disgusted. I didn't even want to record in the house. I just wanted it to rain on me.
Oh Lord, that's crazy. D'Angelo said, "Howie, get it right, April Fools." That's crazy. Oh man, it is in April, of course. Jay Kill said Malik Willis has a pro arm only prospect worth risk at quarterback. Landry is the best vet left.
Yeah, Landry's still there.
Yeah, he's definitely.
You know what the crazy thing is? There were so many rumors the day of us getting Pascal, of us looking at Landry.
Yeah, it came out at the same time.
What? So what's the deal with Landry? Are they trying to keep him because they do got Watson now?
They tried to restructure. They didn't try to. They restructured Amari Cooper's contract, and the thought process was that was supposed to clear the cap space to bring Landry back. I don't know if that's going to be true or not because maybe he waits out to find out what's going to happen with Deshaun because obviously new things are kind of coming out about that now. I don't really know what to make of it, guys. I don't really want to get tangled up into legal proceedings that I don't know anything about, but apparently some new stuff is popping up there.
Yeah,
that's with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. They got like a second grand jury or something is looking at things.
Yo, Houston, Texas is not trying to let this man go. He's like, yo, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not trying to talk about it, but like, yo, the Browns were some Browns fan. That's crazy, bro. Imagine if you just gave up all that stuff, and it's like it's over. Imagine if it really was over for the
Browns. This money is fully guaranteed, bro.
230.
That's
rough. Hey, CW Gearhead said, I don't know who Philly 500 hates more, Barnett or Nathan Gary. Who you got?
Barnett. You got to go with Barnett because he's a higher pick. Barnett.
True that. And he can say I told you so because he said it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have the proof.
That's crazy.
Isn't Nathan Gary the last man standing from the 2017 draft?
He was, I guess.
I don't remember he might have been. Oh, he was horrible too.
You know who I couldn't stand?
And Darren Barnett,
Alex Singleton's out of here.
Yeah, Alex Singleton's gone.
Yeah, Alex Singleton is gone.
Yeah, that was funny. I forgot. So you still on your boy from Nebraska, right? The safety /
Jojo Demond. Yeah, I like Jojo Demond.
That was funny. It was funny because you were like, yeah, he's from Nebraska. I didn't know about him. You're like, he's from Nebraska, but yo, he they have him as a linebacker, but he plays safety. I'm like, hold up, Nebraska safety line? That's Nathan Gary. That's what he did for the same team. I'm like, oh, that just puts a bad. Not saying it will be, but I hate them. I hate having to remember something from a guy. It's like, dang, puts a damper.
Yeah,
Brandon. That's why Brandon Katz, you're behind on the news a little bit. We're all aware that he didn't get charged for the 20 separate allegations. This is a new separate charge that's being thought of being brought up.
Yeah, they're looking into it. They didn't say they're looking into what.
We don't know. We don't know if it's going to escalate to an actual.
Yeah, I think it's a new incident. It might have been a new girl or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're going to try to bamboozle him until they can.
Yeah, I don't know what.
But this what I don't understand. If you didn't want to play with the Texans, right? Why didn't he just play, act like he was going to play, and just take the suspension right there? You're messing with a team that you're on a team that you don't want to play with anyway. Go ahead and take your suspension, and then everything probably would have been over with. Like, dang, I don't. Now you're in a situation to where though you want to play and you're going to get suspended. Like that don't make no sense. That ain't make no sense to me.
I don't think he's going to get suspended if you don't get charged.
He shouldn't.
I mean, Zeke never got charged, but he got suspended.
Yeah, Big Ben and Zeke both got games without being. Big Ben back in the day with the allegations and whatnot. Ben
got suspended.
He got suspended.
Hey, Brandon, to put this in correct terms, Brandon, you're wrong. While nothing may come of convening a grand jury, it does mean something because they can proceed forward. So it does mean something. We just don't know no one knows what exactly it is yet, other than the allegation that's been reported and the fact that they're reconsidering it. I don't know how strong any of it is. I don't know, but it definitely means something.
Yeah. No one knows. Said, appreciate the content, fellas. I also like Howie. Also feel like Howie likes putting us through a bunch of pain.
Of course.
T said, did the Eagles buy regular dinner before drafting, and did he drop the plate?
He ate every drop.
Caught up. Yo.
Hey, that was good.
Yeah, that was. That might be how we have to end it. It's 10:30. I know 500 on the West Coast. Like it's only 7:30 here. I gotta wake up.
That's all right. I'm sure my kids are waiting for me for something.
Yeah. But hey, shout out to you guys for doing this. It was a good one for the simple fact there was so much. There's a lot of built up stuff. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. Like Howie Roseman can always do something strange, right? He could do something good. He could do something strange. And with the picks that he has, it allows him to really be Howie, right? And because you're like, oh, second round pick, we got to get one of these guys. And then he goes this way, right? Now it was right for Landon Dickerson, right? We talking about JOK, who's a good player, Asante Samuel Jr., who's a good player, but Landon Dickerson panned out to be. Why'd you take him? Okay, we see it. But then you got the second round pick in Whiteside that didn't pan out. So, but with the amount of picks, he could be at his most unpredictable.
That's what I expect.
It's I was really just gearing up. Like my head was straight. Like I was tunnel vision on defense and maybe a wide receiver. I was undecided. With the free agents we signed, I'm with you guys. I would take a wide receiver. There's a guys there, and maybe not 19, but definitely second round because there's guys there's like 20 deep that you might be able to put some claim in that are pretty worthwhile picks. That being said, April's I'm excited and nervous at the same time because as LB said multiple times, and a lot of us did, this draft is important because of how fragile the roster is. The roster is at a fragile spot, as Gates said. There's guys who are older. We're gonna be losing some longtime Eagles and whatever. So this replacement of youth or whatever we're doing is important because again, teams can when you're bad. Like look at some of the franchises that have been bad for 5, 6, 7 years. Cough, Giants. You could get stuck in that, and the Eagles have been good at always being relevant. And this could be a really big make or break because it could do us justice, or it could be like, bro. We didn't get the right talent in here. The talent that we had that was good for 10 years is gone. What is we doing? So it's rough.
Yep.
Brandon, I appreciate you providing the information. They did convene a second grand jury, and they decided not to indict him. But I understand you're saying you're an attorney, but no offense, the guy below you could say he's a doctor. What the hell does that mean, dude? We're on the internet, my guy.
Wait, who said that? Brandon?
Yeah.
I don't even see these.
Dude, I don't even have the comments up.
Yeah, man. Are you like Cleveland too?
Do I like him? What do you mean?
No. I'm asking Brandon.
Oh.
If he like low key Cleveland fan too. Hey, listen. If he's innocent, more power to him. Like I'm not. We all don't. It don't matter. He's not an Eagle no more. We were only cared when he was rumored to us. It is what it is now. You know what I mean? I always thought he was a nice guy. I always thought that he was a high character guy before this stuff happened. I was really surprised in the beginning. With that being said, shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure if you're not subscribed to anybody on this panel, go ahead and do it. I mean, it's content galore over here, and you're gonna have so many. Listen, as much as we differ in opinion, we're different people. Howie has as many different opinions as us, and he's one person, which is scary. So if you want to close out, everybody say a little closing thing. We get up out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and all the content creators for coming on. It's always fun to do this.
I'll say thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This was a blast, no doubt about it. It was very interesting conversation because I think that this thing can go so many different ways. We just don't know. But it's at the end of the day, this is Howie vision, and we're just all living in it. So buckle up.
I'm terrified. You already know. Thanks for having me on. I think Howie about this. I think he's gonna do it to me this year. Pause. I definitely think he's gonna have my blood pressure up though at this draft. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh, real quick, shout out to Derek Will. He said, "Why don't you guys got Joey Shakes live with y'all?" It's just how it turned out. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I almost didn't make it.
LB didn't come into for a while. We hit up Castro as well. I mean, it is what it is. Shout out to Jay Kills. Says sleeper alert. Chig. I can't say that name. I'm the worst at saying names in the world. So
he's talking about the tight end from Maryland.
Facts. And JB said people got to stop saying trade J-Jaw and Reagor. Baker can't find a job, and we want somebody to take Reagor. Come on. That's crazy. It's true. But go ahead, Gate, LB, Fresh. We about to get up out of here.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching. Hey, y'all made it for 2 hours and 41 minutes, man. It's greatly appreciated.
That's all I've been on.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long time since I did this. I'm dead tired.
That, man. I appreciate everybody, man. I see y'all in the comments. Definitely appreciate y'all, man. It was nice to to spend my birthday night, man, with my brothers, man. Kicking it, talk. Oh, we got a little hostile, me and 500, but that's how we do. At the end of the day, it's all love, man.
All love.
I appreciate all of y'all, man. And listen, man, if y'all want to know how to get the merch, the link will be in the description. Appreciate all of y'all, man. Come on, I'm a salesman. I'm always hustling. Yo, that.
Yeah.
I can't give you a wrench. This ain't my live stream.
he's like, mark that down in the calendar. I'll be here.
I'm gonna remember too. I'm gonna remember. I got you, Derek.
There you go. Again, appreciate all you guys for coming on. LB, well, it was a little late. He was putting the little Eagle fans away. You know what I mean? You gotta do it.
Bruh. It was tough.
Yeah. And like I said, the crazy thing is, again, and that's part of the reason why, all our schedules are always off and stuff. And to get this thing like this, it takes a little bit of, cooperation and just being on the right time. Some people miss out and stuff like that. Because DJ Eastwood wanted to come on here. He does Philly sports too, and he definitely differs too when it comes. And we gonna have to get him on the next one. His opinions are fun.
Gonna get him. He's a Hurts hater.
Yeah, but no, look, but here's the thing. He's more. He definitely talks the same way it is on Twitter, just a little less. You know what I mean? When you have the conversation, because it's all love at the end of the day. We all just have one goal. Eagles will get better. We just see it different ways.
Hang on, Mike. Let me address this dude one last time. Brandon, listen, man. I'm gonna address this one last time, bro. Listen. I understand that a grand jury can be convened by anybody for anything. I get that. Okay. Well, you keep saying that it means nothing when they can indict your ass. It means something. It means something. The fact that you're saying you're a lawyer and you don't understand that principle tells me you're full of crap.
It's a good thing.
I'm not saying the man's guilty. I don't think he's guilty, or else I think they would have, over 20-some people, they would have found something concrete, I believe, if he was actually guilty. I don't think he was guilty, but I'm not going to sit here and say that you being brought forth where you could be potentially indicted is just nothing. It means that
it's really a good thing. It's really a good thing you don't be on Twitter like that, because you'll be like a KD type of dude, man.
Bro, I be almost getting into fights on Twitter in the football.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Like, crazy.
People be tripping on that job, man.
But listen, real quick, Brandon, go to Gate City's. He has a law channel. But not
Gate City's legal reviews.
Yeah, he'll tell you all about it. He got a video and everything. You know, I'm just kidding. Again, appreciate y'all. We gonna keep switching the subject and talk forever. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Until next time, y'all know what time it is. We out. Peace.
Yo, that.